Yeah,
Chalo,
Sparko Dada cheers.
nice, Dada. Nice timing. Nice timing. We are just live with the main screen. I'm quickly gonna do one thing. I'm just gonna drag you all into the SA1 क्योंकि मेरे को disturbance
Mm-hmm.
नहीं चाहिए.
Mm-hmm.
चलो, here we go. Oh, admin
Sparko को
docs.
drop कर लो.
Sparko is here. Harki is here. सबको रोल दे दिया मैंने just in case अगर किसका लीव होता है तो. चलो.
Okay. Okay.
Welcome everyone.
Bullet, your
I'm back.
camera is not on.
AF I forgot मैं Discord नहीं चलाता हूँ ना.
Oh, Sparko, big fan, sir, big fan, sir.
The fuck?
Hello.
Hello. What up?
Hey.
चलो guys, so welcome to the second episode of the Rainbow Six Siege SA podcast, or maybe I can just call it South Asian podcast. Thank you so much जितने भी लोग join in किए, and of course today we have two new members on our guest panel. One is one of the so-called best casters, I can definitely call him, and one of the people I look up to. Not gonna lie. Also known as Assassin 47, and AK real name goes by Nitesh Nair. And another, we have one of the best Siege PC players in our region, known as Sparko. I'm not gonna take your real name because my
Hello.
pronunciation थोड़ा सा खराब है, so I'm just keep it Sparko right now for. So yeah.
What
So
up?
the
Hello. Hello, guys. Yeah.
first
How are you
topic
guys doing?
of हाँ शासन भाई बोलो बोलो.
How are you guys doing? All good?
Yeah,
आपका
man.
आपका ना
Fantastic.
आपका फीड बड़ा पिक्सेलेटेड आ रहा है शासन भाई.
Pixelate हो रहा है क्या? No
हाँ
idea. Maybe.
और बैकग्राउंड चेंजर और लगा दो. चलो. So our first topic of the day is right now, like हमने जो नोट डाउन किया है before अपन उस पे जाएं, तो I will just like कि हल्की assassin भाई and Sparko, if you guys can go one on one, like one by one, sorry, starting से. हाँ. इसलिए that's why I don't cast in English, right? That's the reason why I don't cast in English. So if you can just go one by one and introduce yourself, like how you got into Siege and basically how you are related to Siege.
We'd like to go chronologically, तो पहले Sparko दादा आएंगे. Yeah.
Hello. Okay. So, hello everyone. I'm Tasabir Sparko. I'm playing this game from I guess 2016. 2016 December when the game got released. Actually, uh, how I was introduced actually back then. From with Nvidia, I used to get the code, like for the new games. Like they used to give codes when you buy a graphics card, basically something like was. So I got a code from that when I purchased a graphics card, and then I got into Siege. Before that, I was to play Battlefield, like the Battlefield TDM stuff. So I was kind of bored after playing with that because I wanted something like tactical. uh, Back at that time there was no tactical game, I think so, for as a siege kind of tactical game. There was no game. So I was like searching for this kind of game, and I found finally. Then we grinded. Yeah, that's all.
No, I mean, how many years has it been since you started?
16, I started at the end, like the game got released I guess December 1st, I think so, I'm not sure. Like
Uh-huh.
from then 2017 I started, like I had back then college and stuff. So after that I was playing so much. I was like kind of addicted. I was playing day and night. But
Oh
at
God.
that time, there was nothing for us, as you guys know. Like for South Asia, there was like nothing officially. Even the small tournaments, which we got like after 2 months, one tournament, like that kind of stuff. Still, I had hope that like something will come. But meanwhile, we were just playing without like nothing. There was nothing. We were just practicing rank stuff, like then some stuff came, like what can I say, like some Bangladesh land happened. So I traveled back. I went to the main city. At that time in the land there was no 144 hertz, like they didn't provide 144 hertz. I carried the monitor, and
Oh God.
in the bus I went to the main city. I played there. I stayed in my friend's house, then came back again. Then ICGC came. I think Ashrit knows. Ariel was there. They were the admins, I think, that time. In
Mm.
Goa, we qualified there. Uh, it was hard, because starting, the game. As there was nothing for South Asia, we were just playing some local tournaments. So we didn't know what our future holds that time. Even still, we are thinking about it. But at that time, it was like dark. Like we didn't know like the amount of time I'm spending every day. I didn't know like what I was like playing for.
True, true,
Okay.
understandable,
I'm very
understandable.
sure that those were worse times than what we thought we have now, right? Like those three,
Absolutely.
4 years, we had no idea what we were going to do.
Legit, like nothing. I didn't know. My family used to tell me, what am I doing, what is the future in, like, you are playing this game like hours and hours. What is the future? Back then, like, my first LAN officially was Indian. Like that time, some
ICGC or some
ILG came
ILG
actually.
Pune.
Yeah, I went to
Hmm.
that. That time we didn't have much sponsor. But I was in MRCZ, and they helped us little bit, and we put money from our pocket. I flew from Bangladesh to Pune, Kolkata to Pune. All my teammates who were in, like, they were in Chennai or Bangalore or somewhere, and they came here. We first time met each other, and we stayed in a hotel. We booked it, like it was full from our, uh, from
Own
our own
pocket.
pocket, to be honest. Yeah. And
Hmm.
if you lose, okay, just suppose the prize money was, I think, some 1.5 or something. The first prize was 75K. If we lose, if we don't make it 75 kids, like, lost for us, like, coming here.
Yeah. So
Understandable,
with
understandable.
while you were going to every match, you had that, intent of winning because paisa leke jana hai. You need
Ha.
need to take the
Yeah,
money and go.
Yeah,
Oh
because it
God.
was all from our pocket. If it's gone, means if we didn't win, it's gone. What can I say? And the best thing is that first land was on my Eid day. So, like, Bangladesh Eid is like I think in South Asia Eid is a very big thing. Like, I sacrificed. I was like, "Okay, I want to play the land. In the on the Eid day, I left all my cousins and family. I went to Pune just to play the game. That's how much I love Siege.
Yeah, man, that's immense amount of
Yep.
dedication, honestly.
Yeah. All right. I
uh,
think you guys
Nitesh
go on.
bhai or maybe Halki bhai, one of you can
Mm.
go on.
I mean, Halki can go on. We are already on the topic of players and their journeys, so I guess Halki is obviously the next one.
So I joined in 2018 April. Actually, it was so while I was studying in SRM, it was my roommate's birthday, ठीक है? And he had seen Siege कुछ लोगों को Tangle पे खेलते हुए. Those days Tangle was a big thing. Free में लोगों को खेलना होता था. So yeah, I mean I had seen him playing and I was like, even I'll get it on your birthday. I'll buy it for you and for myself. And I mean, after that, we saw a few GoFos going on at that time. It was what, July, August, उसके बाद, yeah. And then that's when I started competitive. ऐसे ही मतलब टीम बना के कुछ टाइम पास टीम बनाते रैंक खेलते सारे ब्रॉन्जेस एक साथ खेल खेल के. And I mean that is when we started Bad Trip and those days we used to just grind and Sparko. I remember, our main goal was getting Sparko's team. उसकी टीम से अगर एक मैप ले लिया ना, that was our goal. एक मैप लेना मेरा life बन जाएगा. So I mean that was the goal in those days. So yeah, we grinded our way, and then I mean mid 2019 my college ended, and then I had to work. So my dad told me that you really can't continue playing. You either have to work or play, and I was like, either way around, this is I have to start working at some point of time in life. So
True, true.
I just decided to become a manager at that point, and people who had the time, I got them to play as a team, and I just continued from there. So that's been it. I mean, it's not much. I still remember how I met Nitish. So, I mean, first Elite Hubs tournament. I remember Messenger में message करते हुए. I had seen him casting one match, and I was like, bro, this guy is amazing, bro. The amount of energy this guy puts in. Oh God.
True, true. Agree with
Sync
Yeah.
that, man.
100.
Absolutely. I mean,
Actually,
Siege was kind of like an instant love for me as well. Like, I started with Counter Strike, but then eventually, when I did, get used to Siege, I was like, yeah, this is the game. So basically, since I was a little kid, I was very much into SWAT and all these special tactical shooters. So Siege kind of, stole my heart as well. When I did start playing it, actually, I did not completely go into Siege until 2020. So during the lockdown stage is when, all these R6 tournaments started popping up, and I was like, you know what, I should give a shot at R6. And I truly got into the game. I guess I reached platinum, if I'm not wrong. I was a very bad player, by the way, at the start. I had to just learn everything by myself, and it was hard, but at the same time, it was not, like it was not like a burden, sort of like it's not like, okay, you're grind, and I'm just not reaching anywhere. It was just I was in love with the tactical approach of the game, and I just put my heart into it. And throughout 2020, I casted Siege. 2021, half I casted Siege, and then I moved on to Valorant. But yeah, we all know the reason for that.
Ah,
Yeah,
yeah.
coming to that reason, like specifically, can you just honestly answer that? Like, you are a more
Hmm.
experienced caster, you are more into the industry sort of thing.
Yeah.
So, like, what were the exact reasons like a caster moved on to another game?
So Valorant was already on the cards. Now,
Yeah,
I'm going to be brutally honest. I was the first caster in the country to cast Valorant. So, Valorant closed beta day one
yeah. You
is when
casted
I
the
started
elite one,
casting. Yeah,
right?
the elite
Yeah,
one. So that's when I started casting Valorant. So I was the first caster in the country for Valorant. I was obviously eventually going to shift to Valorant as well, but as I told you, I just fell in love with Siege, and and with the amount of support and love coming out from the Siege community in the region, I just wanted to continue doing Siege because Siege was something that was very close to my heart, and I was actually enjoying it at that point of time. Because that was, I guess, I feel like 2020 was the prime time for Siege. Like it was the perfect setting in terms of how the game was, how balanced the abilities and characters and operators and everything were. So Siege was actually perfect during that time, in my opinion. Like I know Siege had its own issues, but 2020, in my opinion, was the prime time for Siege, especially in our region.
and
So after 2020 is when, like new updates came along, and then slowly Valorant started getting all the traction. Valorant was already a big thing in 2020, but then, Siege was still there because we had tons and tons of events, especially the 5 month long league coming out from the side of the sports club. So yeah, I mean that in itself was a big thing for 2020. Apart from that, he did a lot of tournaments as well. So after that, slowly, everyone just started shifting their attention towards Valorant, and
Valorant.
Siege was not getting that big of a support coming out. In my opinion, Siege was not getting that big of a support as well. There were a lot of issues
Agreed.
going on. So eventually, it was bound to happen, the shift to Valorant. But if I had the chance, I would have still continued casting Siege.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean,
True.
to sum it up, why you shifted from Siege to Valorant, there's this one word that rhymes with honey, and I'm not gonna speak it out loud, but
Nah,
yeah.
it's not just that. Okay, so
It's not just that.
to be completely honest, most of the
Your
early
voice is
Rainbow Six
breaking up,
tournaments,
Nitesh bhai.
it's still breaking up. Hello,
Thoda thoda.
Yeah, it's better.
And
Acha, it's
ठीक
better. Okay,
please
one
continue.
second. Let me just.
I have a lot of questions for you, Sparko. Don't worry. Our podcast is for about our maximum timing is like 1.5 hour, and don't worry, we got all the questions covered, but not spilling out anything before the announcement.
Cool, cool.
So meanwhile, Nitesh bhai जब तक सही कर लेते okay,
All
he's
right,
back, he's back, he's
Nice,
back, he's
man.
back. Okay,
all right, cool. So is it fine now? Is it better?
please go on, please go on.
Cool. All right. So I just reduced the fan. Actually, it's getting really hot. But yeah, getting back to where I was, by the way, I just forgot.
We're on
Zoned
the
out.
money part,
Oh, never mind.
basically.
Yeah, it was never actually about the
Honey.
money. So most of the it's not about the honey at all. Like if Ali remembers at the start of
Uh,
2020 when I initially started casting Siege. Okay, I'm just gonna put it out there. Nothing to do with any TOs, but I personally vouched for not getting paid for most of the gigs because I was still in that learning curve. So money was never really a thing. I just wanted to go ahead and like explore the game a little bit more from the professional side of things, as in a professional player, how exactly he
Yeah.
approaches the game and stuff like that. So there's a lot of learning curve. So money was not really a big thing, but at the same time, the main focus of shifting towards another game is because Siege did not get a lot of support as it was
yeah.
supposed to. And I don't blame anyone, but it's just how the state of the game was. The state of the game was not that great after 2020, especially in 2021 was when I feel like Siege had a little bit of a problem, and I guess you might agree. And I would like your opinion as well on that. But yeah, 2021 was when Valorant just boomed up, and eventually everyone started making the shift.
Sparko, you being a
True.
player, what do you think? Like, basically, what were the reasons why Siege didn't got that boom? See, one reason is because Valorant is a free game. We definitely agree. A free game will always get more traction rather than the paid game. But
Yeah.
eventually got the server for our specific region too, which I kind of strongly agree because getting a server for a country like India, it matters a lot. It matters a lot. Many people won't agree, but it matters a lot. But from your
It
perspective, what
does.
were the reasons like
So
basically ये चीज
I'll tell
गलत
you
हुई?
like so we like South Asian. I feel like that we don't like to invest in like PC stuff or gaming. Like we like to get free stuff. Like so in my society where I live, like I know a lot of guys, but they know that I play Siege, but they never tried it. But when Valorant came up, they were playing it. It's free and it runs on most of the PC. Like they don't have a good PC. What I mean to say is, but they whatever they have, they can still run it. But if you look at Siege, if you want to enjoy it, really need a good PC. Like it's a very heavy game. I felt like it's a very heavy game. If you want to enjoy, it's the best. Like your like the game's best. I think you need a very good PC, and then you have to invest on that PC's part. Like you need to get a 240 Hz,
Understandable.
144 Hz. You need to get a very good graphics card, processor, blah 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 blah. So the player base, I feel like they don't like those who have, they will spend on it, okay, but those who don't have, like new gamers, they don't want to spend that much amount of money, like buy the game, buy the PC components, like get a good internet, uh, like it's very and the servers are like, if you want to fix your stuff like the ping latency, it's little bit the servers are little bit, if you tell your ISP, they also don't know how to fix it, because this Azure server or something, it's little bit hard to fix for them. What I understood, I have two internets.
Understandable.
I Yeah, like they are like, okay, we're gonna leave it, it's okay.
Oh, are
Because
you
they can't.
getting full speed? Oh, that means your ping must be good, sir. Thank you very much. Do restart your router.
Yeah, they
Internet
actually
service
doesn't get it. Yeah,
101.
yeah, they tell the restart, but they don't know actually how the how to
Properly
check the
routing.
ping. Yeah, the
Properly,
properly
yeah.
routing. Yeah, yeah.
Routing,
So a lot
routing
of the
issues.
players, I know them, I got a lot of message, bro, how do I tell my ISP how to fix the ping, blah
Hmm.
blah blah, like how do I get low ping, I'm getting the packet loss. Even when I tell my ISP, I have to like go through a lot of stuff. I changed a lot of ISP also, like for this game.
I can relate
So
to that.
yeah, so one of the main reason is I think is like it's a very heavy game. And one more thing is this Siege is very tactical. You have to know,
Yeah,
like
I was about to
if
say
you
that
play,
part.
yeah, if you play one time, you won't get it. Like you have to play a lot to understand the world of Siege, basically. What's like if you play one time, you can't be a good, like you have to grind, you have to know the details of the game, like what is actually happening, what are these operators, how are the counters. Every operators have each counters, like they have, like so it's people doesn't have that much patience, I feel like or and apart from that also, the way we were introduced to South Asia, it's a bit late, I feel like. See, when
Agree
we
to
were
that part.
introduced 2020, I still remember in six invitational, I was waiting like for that month, from February. I knew that I got a hint that in February, Fix Invitational 2020, we were gonna introduce. I came to know that, but it was not confirmed. So I was like very hyped about it. That time I was dedicated 100% to Siege in that back in 2020. So I was like, okay, let's see. Okay, finally they announced. I was happy with whatever they said, whatever they're giving. I was really happy, but we were kind of bit late. Right now, I don't know if you guys will agree or not. Like
Please
as
go on,
a
please go on,
competitive
please go
player,
on. Yeah.
like we are competing against those who against the major players, APAC, North, South, after like what, once a time in a month, after 3 months once a time. And that also we are playing against those guys who are playing the international level for 5 to 6 years. All those players, they are playing for 5 to 6 years in the international level, and we are just playing local tournament and meeting them in once in a while, and then it's gone again. Again after 3 months we qualify, then you play against them. One match or two match max.
Yeah.
That's it.
I guess that is the same problem. Nitesh would also agree to the part because you are not into Valorant, Assassin by. This is the same problem. Like this kind of stuff you will hear clearly about from the Valorant top tier Valorant Indian teams too. That they don't get the opportunity to scrim or play against the high level teams, and when they qualify for the international stages, they are like, "Bhai, nahi ho pa raha."
So clearly there's a skill difference in terms of players internationally and players currently in the region. But the thing is, in order to overcome them, of course, you need to scrim them. But there are a lot of platforms, to be honest. Like I know a couple of Discord servers where players are actually interacting with the international teams and just scrimming against them. So with that with that sort of like all the community throughout the region and of course internationally as well coming together, and then you're just screaming against each other. Like we had a pretty good response in Valorant as well. Like there was this particular match where a team was very excited to be screaming against Global Esports or even Velocity Gaming when they played them in the APAC state. So yeah, slowly once you sort of get that limelight, even international players are like, okay, these guys are interesting. They've got something under their belt, and of course we would like to just play more, and we see a potential in them. So something like that can happen to Siege as well. But I guess, I mean, we definitely have mercenaries and everyone who did play in the Apex stage as well. So I'm pretty sure that slowly but surely Siege is gonna get there.
Uh,
One more thing I would like to add,
Please go on.
like
Please go on. Yes.
I don't know if I might be right or wrong. So
Please go
back
on.
in Halki, I think you will remember Arashrit. So if
Hmm.
you guys were following back in 2017, 18, the Apex scene, not our scene, Apex scene. So what used to happen that time? What used to happen was like two teams from Singapore. I mean this Apex North, I guess, or something. I mean basically from Singapore and
Epic North.
stuff,
Epic
Asia.
North.
They used to go to Australia, play in the land, and two teams used to qualify for the like main event, right? I think
hmm.
so. So if you look at back that IG, like who are very most dominant team right now, who are like, so a lot of teams they used to didn't get even skag that time. They didn't, you know, didn't go to that level back in that. It took them like I think 3 to 4 years to go to that international level. Like at the beginning they used to qualify, but they didn't get the result. What I mean to say is like
Yeah.
they didn't used to get the
Understandable.
result immediately in the LAN that time. So but right now they can, I think most of the Asian teams right now APAC, they're ready for the international like if you see Elevate right now, they went to the major, they did a very good performance. But what I mean to say is like it took time for them. So how can we suddenly go play against international team and come up with some good results? That too
Yeah.
after getting that too after like what getting into Siege officially in 2020.
Yeah,
Understandable.
to
True.
2018, up to 2018, I think there were a total of two or three teams total in South Korea. But the difference
Yeah.
was that they were always allowed to go for the international tournaments. So you look at
Mm.
Cloud9, you look at, I think, I'm
No,
forgetting the other team's name. They were there all the time.
no, even if you
And
look at Cloud9, oh, sorry to interrupt, and others,
hmm,
in when they went to international level, they didn't get the immediate result.
they got
Yeah.
memed on.
He's
Yeah,
right about
I
this.
mean
He's
they
definitely right
got it,
about this.
but not immediately. They played, they understood, like they understood this international level scene. They have been playing against, when you play against each other again and again. Suppose if I'm playing against a team like every day, like like most of the time, I will know, okay,
How are we
how they
gonna
are playing,
play?
how to interact them.
Mhm.
We'll know little bit, okay,
Counter
right?
strat, how to counter
Yeah,
strat them,
stuff,
how they have
okay. Oh, they are
understand.
thinking this
Yes.
like this way right now. We're like, I feel like that we we were, I think Music J told also, I think once in the Twitter also, I like we were introduced directly in the wrong, like like
Yeah.
like directly into the international level after like competing what, like just few games and going against them. I mean obviously they're better, but we need international level of experience we
More
need.
experience. Yeah.
Yeah, and that approach to the game is very different, and they have been grinding and playing from a long time as well. So I feel like there's obviously a skill difference, but at the same time, there's a lot of potential in the region as well. Like I personally saw a lot of growth throughout the time I casted Siege. Like initially at the start of 2020, when I started casting one of the seasons of Elite Hub's Card 6 tournament, there was a lot of different strats being used by teams. And then fast forward to the end of 2020, and I see a lot of teams just improving and adapting so much. So like of course there is, like, when you constantly keep on getting all of these tournaments and you play against each other, you find out various different strats, and then you just go ahead and adapt them. It of course helps, but I feel like that, yeah, I mean, after that, 2021 was just a different roller coaster altogether.
I mean, there were other regional problems as well. If you see the top three, four teams, like Bullet must be remembering this. I said this in the previous podcast also, but since like all three of you are new here, maybe you have watched it, maybe not. So the problem was that the top level got really stagnant in
Yeah.
2021. So till stage two, I had my teammate AMST. Like, so we were playing for Red Vipers back then. He left the scene after stage two. Why? Because you would scrim for 3 months, do all the hard work, qualify for the nationals, and then unless you go top three, you are getting nothing out of it.
GG.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah, so AMST was literally
Yeah.
one of the best players in my eyes back then, alongside Eagle Eye. And
Mhm.
the problem only like was that he just saw Valorant as more lucrative. Simple as that.
Yeah.
True,
and
very
and then the problem is, if newer teams don't go to the top and challenge the status quo, then the top teams are not going to improve. If we had got these playoffs for the majors, SI invitationals and stuff in 2020, right, our teams were better prepared to do back then in 2020, because the competition was much better. You look at teams like VPG or V5, back then Reckoning Esports was a thing. So many teams were there that were ready to challenge the people at the top. In
Many team,
2021, it just
yeah,
wasn't there, bro.
many
You know,
teams like.
like I
Please
was
go on,
talking
sir.
with Ubisoft actually, basically about our region back, like I think 6 months ago or 8 months ago. So I was telling them like the process of our qualifying, like two teams goes to the playoffs, they play in a different server against those international pro players, whatever. We got destroyed, we come back home again, then we grind again 3 months. So I told them, why don't you do guys this thing in the APEC League? Add us, give us like one spot, no prize pool.
If you,
Okay, for
whom did you talk to? If you can take the name,
I
or
can't
Neil,
actually reveal the name.
Neil
Like it's,
Manav. I don't know,
yeah,
Neil
something like
Manav.
that. Uh,
Huh.
Actually, I
Let's
don't
not
want to
reveal
reveal it.
names on stream,
Yeah, yeah,
please.
yeah. I don't want
You
to
can
reveal it,
take the
but
name. Like, acha, acha, please go on, go on.
it's,
Nah, could be risky. That's okay.
Go on, go on.
so I was talking to them. I was telling them. So in APAC League, there is like eight, like I mean, 8 teams, right? So add us give us one spot, and every stage you can shuffle the assay spot. And for ninth spot, don't keep prize money. For right now, APAC has 8 spot, and they have prize money for eighth position till eighth position. If
Okay,
each of them, I think, are getting some amount or rewards basically. So basically what I mean to say is, give us a spot so that we play against them in the league, we get to know.
okay,
Don't give us the prize money. If we are becoming ninth, no prize money needed. But
okay.
and after 3 months, like if stage one, stage two, stage three, only for South Asia, you can shuffle, so that like the new team can play against the, like the
Local
international.
teams.
Yeah, basically we can play against them and learn. Basically we
So
can play
Sparko,
against them and learn.
I
Do you
think
agree with that fact? If any TO comes in and they invite the other,
Voice is a little bit lagging, I think. Am I,
can you hear
is it?
me? Is it okay for everyone? My voice is
yeah,
coming.
Bullet
It's
sounds
fine
all
for me.
right.
I guess it's Sparko's net. Maybe कोई बात नहीं.
Yeah.
Is my net?
Switch to second net, bro. Switch to second net.
I have to switch to that net. Right.
uh, कोई नहीं. So I just personally feel what many TOs are doing it right now after one TOs introduced that ये होता है इंडिया में. Like I'm not coming to that part. Like invite other professional teams from other regions, other top regions to play one tournament and then get in the SA teams. Like basically APAC North ke team ko bulao, invite those teams. That's happening with Valorant right now. Many TOs are coming in, they're inviting the other APAC teams in a screen based kind of a TO with basically introducing a new IP where 5 teams from APAC North, maybe some other region you can take it, and 5 teams from Indian subcontinent. वहाँ से फिर आके like I guess maybe that can be a solution if you like competitive level अगर raise करना है तो Spark को.
Yeah, I think what I mean to say is like we need to play against the international team. What you were trying to say is we need
Yeah.
to
The
play against
method
them.
is irrelevant. It's like आम खाओ
Yeah,
गुठली ना गिनो, चाहे हमें बाहर बुला लो या बाहर वालों को हमारे पास दे दो. As
yeah.
long as we get the international exposure, no. So I think like I'll add to Sparko's point a bit. So if you look at the teams that got good over the last year, like I have Sonics as an example. They got trashed on in all the three LAN events in 2021. And in 2022 comes NAL finals, they literally win it and they go top 6 in SI 2022. So what does Super say? He says we are going to the international events and we are learning from each and every one of them. That's the entire essence of it. Suppose of our South Asian teams gets a chance to play in the league. They when they come back and play the local tournaments, the local teams when they play against them, they will learn also from them, right? And then it's good for everyone as a whole.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yep,
that's what the idea should be. So like for example, suppose like UG gets to play number one key in the playoffs. They'll learn something from them. Then they come back and they face suppose Kira or us, and then they will do that new stuff, and then we'll be like, oh, this is a different play style. So like that kind of method both motivates and changes the meta. It makes stuff less boring. It motivates teams to try out new stuff. Otherwise, we'll just be like, ooh, ooh, monkey. We jump here and there. We win. We'll keep on doing it locally and we'll lose internationally. What else will happen?
Bro,
exactly.
that's true, but Sonics are getting trashed on right now as well in
I
NAL.
mean, even TSM is bro. TSM literally won in white. What can like
Uh,
TSM is eighth in
That's
NAL right
how the
now.
game works. I mean, see,
I'll
look
say
at
TSM is saving strats. That's a different thing. But Sonics are getting trashed.
That's not G2, bro. G2 era is long gone.
that
I
that era of G2.
Bye.
Like at that time, when I was to watch the stream, I was still thinking, how can a team be so dominant? Like no one can win against them. Right now, you don't know. Today, if BRS is winning, they're losing tomorrow. Like, that era of G2 is gone. Like, there's no team like that way. For me, I think so. Like, that kind of consistent team in international level. That time, people used to, I think, like, get afraid of G2. Oh, if they are in the
Mhm.
bracket, we are gone.
Mhm.
yeah, that is
Yeah.
correct.
Absolutely.
Yeah, coming back to if we talk about the G2, like Fabian said in an interview, even Pengu said in his podcast, उनका बस they were like कि at that time synergy of between them synergy was so perfect. Even they had their own personal issues. अगर आप लोग follow up करते हो आप आपने सुना होगा
Yeah.
6-on-6 पे भी
They
उसने
did.
बोला था.
Mm-hmm.
They had
Yeah.
a lot of personal issues, but वो in game the synergy was so perfect and they were pretty confident कि we are the best team in the world. Before even winning the SI, before winning the 2018 का ना हाँ 2018 SI, they were like we are the best team right now in the whole region, whole our South Rainbow Six scene, sorry, esports. And उसके बाद था Fabian said in a recent interview with what you call Europe League वाले में एक podcast छोटा सा चल रहा था. And the same thing even Pengu said on the Pengu podcast जो भी Dark Zero का चल रहा है कि they're pretty confident कि कोई भी सामने आएगा they will just nail them. So that is something other, I guess.
Their
But
desire to
Building
win
it,
was
I think.
like at the forefront though. Like they were not like, oh my god, like wow, fight has happened. Let us open Twitter, let us start fighting each other, stuff like that. That was
अरे
not their focus, right? Their focus was like, hey, as long as we can keep our matters aside and we can continue winning, we'll do that. And they did that. Winning was at the forefront. If you remember, Fabian's he gave an example of from their finals against Team Empire in 2019. So he and Pengu were about to have a fight, and he predicted it
yeah,
and immediately said sorry to Pengu.
yeah,
That hey, I'm sorry you died because of that, even though it was not even his fault. Why? Because the
he
desire
said
to
this.
win comes first. Quit
Yeah.
longers
Correct.
come later.
नहीं
Yeah.
उसने पीछे बैक साइड जाके like हिंदी में बोल रहा हूँ मैं my English is so bad like he said
Ah,
something like कि, okay I apologize for that shit if we want to win this SI let's keep that aside keep that thing aside and let's work as a team उसने ऐसा कुछ exactly यूरोपियन लीग वाले में जो हुआ था यूट्यूब पे उससे चैनल पे he said these things I'm like कि this is what comes in first if you are playing in as a team if you want to achieve in something ईगो और सब कुछ ऐसा साइड में रखना पड़ेगा नहीं
हाँ.
तो यू कैन नॉट अचीव एनीथिंग लाइक दैट क्योंकि ये चीज मैं इंडिया के वैलेंट सीन में भी है नितेश भाई इज हियर ही कैन नॉट डिनाई दैट फैक्ट बहुत बहुत ज्यादा एटीट्यूड और ईगो है बड़ा हुआ उधर भी और ये होता है इट
It's not
हैपेंस
just Valorant. It's not just Valorant. I'm
इन
telling you.
एवरी गेम
Sport.
आई कैन
It's
से फ्रॉम बीजीएमआई एंड फ्री
it's
फायर हाँ
yeah,
उधर
it's
उधर भी है सब
esports.
उधर है
It's just life in general where people in the region, like literally, it's life in general where people in the region just get immediately flaky for some reason if someone is trying to just help them out by giving some sort of a criticism or anything like that, and this is taken in a way that who the hell is that guy to tell me what to do when I've been playing the game for the last 3 years. Now that is something that needs to change in the region, and I personally believe that player attitude is something that needs to be in check. Otherwise, it becomes very difficult to grow. Like the growth ceiling just ends right there if you don't have an attitude check.
या
And I believe
वैलेंट
it's very difficult, and it's very difficult for the people in the region because they just think that. See, I don't blame them. The problem is when I started casting Siege as well, I noticed this that there's a lack of exposure as to how esports works for
True,
most of the Siege players in the country.
true,
And
true.
it's not just Siege in general, like a lot of upcoming games as well kind of had that problem with the players who were not aware as to how exactly are they to approach the game or the sport. And that comes with exposure and time, and you learn a lot of things as to how esports works, how this works, how that works. But the thing is, you should be open enough to listen and learn. But the problem with our region was that, hey, मैं 3 साल से siege खेल रहा हूँ तो मुझे कैसे बोल सकते
Yep,
हैं?
yep, yep. Actually, I'll tell you, like when how I look up to new players. So I've been playing for what I told you, right, 6 years. So when I see new players and they are doing some amazing stuff, and I was like, oh my god, this guy's new and he knows this much stuff. And I've been playing this for so much years, and I didn't know. And what I
Yeah,
meant to say is, I realized it so late. That means doesn't matter he's new or like old, but he's catching up very fast. Like,
You
but
gotta
Understandable.
respect talent.
yeah,
Yeah.
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 What I
Hmm.
mean to say is, you can't just say that I'm playing for 6 years. What are you telling me? Like, you can't like
yeah.
just like shut him up, like saying that do you know better than me, or like I'm playing in tier one. What do you mean, like? But I see a lot of new players are doing amazing stuff, which I took for years to like discover.
Yeah. And that's what amazes me as well. Even in Valorant, even in Counter Strike, like all of these newer generation peeps just dropped in and they're doing really good. And we're just like, oh damn, we just took a couple of months or a year to learn that stuff, and they're just coming in, sweeping in, and they're wrecking heads. So that's one thing that you always need to have a learning mind, and you should adapt enough to sort
Especially,
of just embrace the change. Don't just
yeah,
like don't just be
especially
yeah.
when it comes to siege, there's always something going around. So there's always something to learn.
Always.
तुमको वो चीज I have to like you have to keep that open mind, like you to like to feedback to like how to improve in the game. Basically, even if it's casting, even if it's organizing as a TO, even it's you are playing as a professionally, you have to keep evolving with that, because Siege is a constant changing game. It's not Valorant, it's not a general BR. Like,
Yeah.
see, BR में you can predict things, Valorant में you can predict things. I'll give you a pretty good example. Valorant में if you have a call, अगर बंदा पीछे ए साइड से आएगा तो बंदा पीछे ए साइड से ही आएगा, either left angle or the right angle or ऊपर से, like अगर take the garage for कोई भी साइड का एग्जांपल, मैं इतना Valorant खेला नहीं हूँ, but in Siege there are hundreds of possibilities कि कहीं से भी आ सकता है. You need to have the exact call, so it's a constantly changing and evolving, and you have to keep that mindset.
I think in esports, technically, the younger people always have had the advantage, right? You just continue to get boomer, you can't
No.
react anymore. Young gunners just come and flick you around.
Okay, I'll
Like,
just give
see,
you.
they have to be good, they need to have common sense, right? But I'll give you
Yeah.
example. So many examples are there. In LATAM, you see W7M has two new young gunners. All of a sudden, they just jump to the top of the league. Like Liquid now took two new young gunners. What is that? Asks and Resets. Both of them are doing so good right now. Even in NA Newers, then like so many young gunners are there, and the thing is they just have the common sense, bro. And I'll give you example from my own team. I'm a shameless plug guy, so plugging my own team in. Ayan, bro,
अरे go
Mutasim is
on,
crazy.
Are you
go on.
calling me boomer?
No, no, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying
Certified
that.
boomer.
All of us will get boomer over time, right?
Yeah,
So
I remember with this part.
we
This is a
need to
funny
keep
part.
learning if we have to evolve.
Please go
Basically,
on,
that's what
please.
the thing is. The new people
I
always have something new to add. Basically,
have a very interesting point to add to that as well. I mean, okay, so this is a well-known fact that in our region, good aim is equals to good player.
हाँ,
That is a mindset. That is a mindset that every single gamer or a professional player has. And okay, fine. You know what? I'm not denying you. Good aim is very important. And most of the organizations or most of the players or even just friends who are coming together making a team think that giving young guns a chance is a very good thing. But what I want you to know is the young guns do bring in a lot of firepower, but at the same time, experience matters a lot in Siege, and not only in Siege, in any tactical shooter. Even Valorant is a tactical shooter, but it's just that Siege is just a little
they're
bit more
different. Yeah,
tactical.
yeah.
And I feel as if without the right guidance, these young guns, this firepower, won't be put to good use.
yeah,
Like
that is true. See,
Yeah.
I won't contest that whatsoever. See, even when Bolo joined TSM, what made him so good was his common sense and his ability to adapt to the team. Is
Yeah.
he never made flashy plays when he first joined TSM at all. He was playing maestro. He was playing the opposite of what you would see in his
even
content creation
even even
channels.
the last map, even the villa last map, Bulo कहाँ था भाई, कहाँ frag में था? It was all achieved
It was
doing it.
full team effort, right? but
Exactly,
but
Yeah.
what
exactly,
I'm saying
exactly.
is,
That's
like,
it.
the young people always do bring a new thought process, a new level of energy to the team. The
Yeah.
Definitely.
experienced people do add to that, but there is a like, there is a place for newer people to be there. You can't gatekeep them from coming into the scene, basically.
Definitely. I mean, they are very important, and the scene needs to constantly adapt and evolve as well. But yeah, this is something that the region should work on. That just having good aim won't help. You need to look at a lot of other factors as well, and not judge players who are actually putting in a lot of brains into the game as well. Like I've seen this happen a lot, where if someone is not fracking, they just outright call him out.
I
Like,
can
hey,
I
he's
can
a
I
bad
can
player.
give a very good example, but I'm gonna call this on stream. G में Valorant में everyone I can say on the podcast panel, we have 20 people in the chat. अगर आप थोड़ा सा Valorant के बारे में जानते होगे, even if you know little bit about the our South Asian scene, आपको SK Rossi जरूर पता होगा, but बाकी other 5 members के नाम नहीं पता होंगे. You don't know about the other 4 members' name. It's just simple as that.
Lightning fast. I know one guy.
I'm giving out a very plain and simple example. This is how the kind of a mindset overall the community has. Not talking about Valorant in specific, not talking about Siege in a way. The same thing goes for the content creators too. Many content creators don't have that particular kind of that aim, but वो अपने जब rank में खेलते हैं तो everybody has their own roles in Siege. So this is how the community is basically. Now
It's beautiful
jumping,
to see how global esports as well funnel all their resources into SK Rossi, and nobody actually realizes that. They just see SK
yeah,
Rossi going and fragging,
yeah,
and it's like, okay, the work of the observer is to show the frags, but at the same time, there are a lot of things that he does show, which you guys don't catch on because you're very, very interested in the kills and what SK Rossi does.
yeah.
So there's a lot of things in the background as well that goes on. So it's very important for everyone to support each and every part of the team because they play a very important role. And I remember this Sparkos team, like in 2020, I don't remember which map. I guess it was Border, I'm not sure, but they made a very interesting play where MI7 or Sparkos, someone got a triple, but one of the casters was just talking about the triple, but how exactly that triple came into play was very interesting. So these are some crucial points that people
That,
need to keep an eye out because
that depends
yeah,
on
there are
caster.
fraggers. I mean, yeah, I mean, forget the casters.
Yeah,
It's not me picking on the caster. It's just everyone in the chat as well was like, oh my god, Sparko triple, MI7 triple, but they're not understanding as to how exactly he got that triple, how
Yeah,
exactly his team just came
yeah.
up for that triple. That's
You
very
can
It's
you
just
important.
can
one man
uh,
shooting that you see, and not the four people calling out behind that.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's never that way.
like,
like I
sometimes
remember Epi as
literally
well.
three people drone so that the entry can get one pick. Okay.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah,
A lot of inputs are like given basically, which are
yeah.
actually
Yeah.
not seen behind, like in front of the
In
live
a
or
TO,
whatever.
हाँ वो stream के उस पे नहीं देखेगा
But
through
Maybe,
Discord.
it's in the comms, like when we are like
yeah,
talking about it. One
definitely.
more thing about like South Asia I want to talk, like, is that like one
Please
thing
go on.
good. So a lot of tournaments came, Elite Hubs came, lot of tournaments I have played. One good thing I liked about TC was, so I before TC was introducing the tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 stuff. So one day Foxy actually came to me, like he called me in Discord and he was like, "Bro, we have a huge plan." I was like, "What?" He's like, "Bro, like I have a actually his idea or like TC idea was like superb." See, so I meet lot of people of Siege people. So they don't used to like grind. Like they used to tell, "Bro, at the end, Kira, you guys, I mean UG, MRCZ, you guys will come and you guys will fight in the finals. Like, what's the point of like, like us fighting? Like, we know that we're gonna lose. So what's the point of waking up in the morning doing that?
I, I,
Because we're gonna lose.
I
They,
can confirm this. Other TOs talking about this one currently after Rainbow Six Mobile is coming in. I can confirm this. क्या होगा 4-5 टीम्स वही टॉप पे रहेगी कुछ ग्रोथ नहीं होगा. I'm like, hello,
I'm,
are you serious?
I think you need to be smart with the format, right? Like, you be smart with the format, you can keep motivating other teams also. That is what
yeah,
this
nah,
region did not have.
yeah. I used to motivate, but actually their perspective, I'll tell you actually their perspective. Like, but coming up to the TC, they introduced tier one, tier two, tier three, which was actually really good. So
Hmm.
basically, tier three teams, they are like, okay, you get promoted to next stage if you are in top two, and like then tier two used to play against each other, tier one, but we as a we took it in a bad way. Like, it's not like we had very bad viewers also in that. I good viewers and as well as average viewers, but the players didn't take it that much seriously. But they used to ditch the the play days. In the play day, they didn't used to show up. I used to
Yeah.
remember
I
when
got
there
to
is
know about this.
there was a play day, TC play day. I used to wake up in the morning. I was so excited, like, okay, today is TC play day. Okay, I'm gonna, like, I'm so excited. But I don't know what other players you think they used to ditch the game day, and like we were ready all the hyped up, but in the like game day they are not here.
They were taking
So
it for granted. They were taking it for
yeah,
granted. Just you can
uh,
tell us that
and
they're taking it for
I
granted.
came to know one more bad things. This is why we won't actually develop. They don't want to go to tier one. Like a lot of tier three teams didn't want to go to tier two.
I was
A lot of
about to come to this point. Yeah.
tier two teams didn't want to go to tier one, because in tier one there
uh,
is more competition, and if you end up like seventh, eighth, I think there was no prize
you
money
don't
in the
get any money. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So they were like, okay, it's better to stay in tier two, tier three by getting something like
Yeah, randomly
you know.
many और जो बच्चे वाले होते हैं many just jumped in because there were many tournaments happening. क्या होगा, 5 best rank players उठा लेते, let's make an org and we'll introduce in tech. So
It was
basically
actually
that
an
was
amazing
happening.
time, to be
Huh,
honest. Like,
we'll make a dodgy contract for players who are not aware about
हाँ,
legal stuff, and
exactly
we'll fraud them
exactly.
6 months later, and then they'll
हाँ.
also make a tweet longer. Easy life.
Twit longer, easy. Yes, true, true.
And
it was
Been there, done that.
It was an amazing time, by the way, like when both the pro leagues were going on. So I remember R6 Pro League started first, and then me and Adi were doing the CSGO Pro League as well. So both pro leagues were going hand in hand, and both of them have had this division wala thingy where Division One is like the top tier
Yeah,
teams, and then Division Two, and then Division Three. So this division wala format was actually very very good, and it was amazing. 5 6 months of your favorite game action. And I actually wanted to cast Siege a lot, but then I was just busy with CS, so I couldn't get in on the action. But I
yeah.
I do remember that there were a lot of problems that this Paco did address, where teams just wanted to play it smart. They didn't want to go into this division because they'd lose this that. I mean, all of this I believe harms the competitive integrity of the game, and it's just something that we should avoid as a growing ecosystem.
I can see chat people in the chat. Some people will abuse me about this, but this kind of mentality is not there in, like, I can confirm around 70% of the teams in Free Fire, because Free Fire circuit is very active. The matches start from 11 and 11 morning and खत्म होता है रात के 11 बजे तक, चलते रहता है लगातार, कुछ ना कुछ होते रहता है. So there is something going on, and they play every single one until and unless there's a first party event, because players always prioritize first party event by the developers, by the major leagues, basically, if I can talk in a plain language with Siege. So I can just add to that, like, there's a goes a saying na, PC and mobile gamers का वो थोड़ा 19-20 का आंकड़ा चलता है, but they are pretty more serious about when it comes to esports and overall integrity, like following up to the events and responding in a respective way. Like, see, as a new TO, I'm connected to a new TO. We're just sitting over there and players are not coming in, they are not responding to the lobby invites and all. But ऐसा नहीं है. They take every event very very seriously. Like, चाहे वो the prize pool is 20K, चाहे the prize pool is 20 crore. They take it very very seriously.
That's true, and it's very important for us to embrace and hold all of these organizers who are actually doing good for the community, and just growing the ecosystem together as a unit. Because without them, I don't think so that we'd be here where we are. And it's just amazing to
I want
see
to point.
the
I want to
growth of the
point to
game.
one thing. I want to
I
point
do
to one
have a
thing.
point there. Acha,
Yeah.
you go.
Please go on, Ashit. Go on. Go on.
Basically, I think like this problem will be minimized from now on, because the problem was up to 220 sorry 2000 2020 we had no tournaments. Then all of a sudden we had like wow, crazy amount of tournaments, right?
Yeah.
And then people were not valuing them as much because
Exactly.
people were just getting them like crazy, right? Now the
Yeah.
rise season is there. Now the region knows the importance of tournaments. So when the scene does get revived, and if it gets revived, I think probably it should get revived. So now the problem of that will not be as much, like, because we are a growing ecosystem, right? So for a like growing region, we will have such kind of problems where teams don't take the game seriously. They don't like get motivated as easily by it. They need to see it to believe in it, right? So it takes some
Yep.
time.
Yeah,
Okay,
patience is
let's
something that patience is something that is actually very
even
less.
20,
And
2018, 2019, 2020, when it was a siege prime. Sorry to interrupt you, Ashish bhai, Assassin bhai. It was a very prime of when Indian esports was growing to. It was that part. समझ रहे हो? BGM was, PUBG Mobile was there, Valorant was happening. It was a prime time. Even the India, like overall, like South APAC. See, Indian as a region is a very big population when it comes compared to every other surrounding countries. But as a whole, Indian subcontinent, पूरा subcontinent ऐसा grow हो रहा था. समझ रहे हो? Money was flowing in, TOs were coming in. पहला क्या था, देयर वाज ओनली वन और टू सिंगल बिग टीओस जिनके ऊपर रिस्पांसिबिलिटी थी. उसको देख देख के उसको लाइक फॉलो अप कर करके, चाहे वो कोई भी रीजन हो, चाहे गलत रीजन हो उसके पीछे, चाहे वो अच्छा मोटिवेशन हो कि लाइक इंडियन लाइक पूरे एज अ स्पोर्ट सिस्टम को ग्रो करने का है. एवरीबडी जस्ट केम इन. सी बिफोर लाइक 2018 वी डिडंट नो अबाउट टेक डिड केम इन, नाउ वी नो अबाउट टेक. इट्स जस्ट सिंपल एज दैट कि धीरे धीरे इट हैड अ टाइम. एंड आई जस्ट फील कि व्हेन आई टॉक स्पेसिफिकली अबाउट सीज, so yeah, there were some problem among the players. Like I want to point out that fact. I don't know, am I putting this right up or not? Many people, Sparko bhai, Halki would agree, Arshit would agree, Nitesh is here would agree. Many people in the chat would agree. People were like, taking tech tournaments and calling them it scrim finder, which I personally didn't liked. मेरे को बिल्कुल लाइक ऑनेस्टली मी कमिंग फ्रॉम अ कंसोल साइड, जहाँ कुछ भी नहीं होता मेरे को अगर प्रोफेशनली खेलने का है तो आई एम लाइक ब्रो, दिस इज सो मच हैपनिंग इन द पीसी रीजन. You got to respect that. Even if the TO is putting in the money, even Ubisoft is putting in some efforts, कुछ भी हो रहा है, you have to respect that. And people will bluntly, another tournament, it's a fucking screen finder. Ah man, this is not the right attitude to just call it
uh,
on.
Actually, I want to say something like about this TC, right? What I'm like new there, like basically we are getting new introduction, right? Like basically we are interacting as say again from the very basic, right? I think like there's starting the ecosystem, like like they're starting it slowly. Uh, I mean it's good, but what I'm worried about is it's all. I mean, we as a player, it's already lot of. I took lot of years, like see
Understand.
back. So I like starting it again, thinking that it will grow again, then we'll get into that platform, which already. So back in 2020, when they introduced SA to 16 Invitational, basically when they introduced us to the global circuit, I was really happy. Okay, after 4 to 5 years, finally we are like the dream. I used to like stay awake till night 3 4 a.m. I used to like scroll up. I used to find Ubisoft who used to work for R6 esports director. I used to text them. I used to send our LAN videos of that there's a community that we exist. I used to send
Bhavada,
them videos.
I
I used
have
to
one
talk them.
point. I have one point. I totally respect your dedication toward the team, like toward the game. Sorry, to not the team.
uh,
But the thing was, ki, to be very honest with, there was not even a market in Indian subcontinent.
yeah, I know that.
It wa- it
But
it
you have to
was the.
think that how can there be a market when the game itself, when the developer didn't even support
And
us?
Sparkota, there's very 2 points I would like to add. When it comes to Siege, there are more other games as like, take it for a random example. Arshit is a very new guy. He wants to get into professional gaming, and now there are two games he loves. One is मान के चलो, even if Valorant is paid, but the whole esports ecosystem is very active. It's very like filled with like you have day to day activities. कोई ना कोई tournament हो रहा है. Just like that, he will pick Valorant on the first place. And I totally respect that fact. Ubisoft neglected the region for a few years, but
No,
you
no,
can't even blame them because see,
no.
Siege is so basically is a very tough game to watch. If you don't understand Siege, you won't enjoy the esports side of it. It's not a viewing friendly game. From put it like if I want to put it from a creator perspective, if I create content out Siege, I can say hardly 1K or 2K views. 1K 2K views per basis pe I cannot approach brands to work with me. That's the main part.
No,
See, like every other guy has the like own like we discussed in the episode one of the podcast ki if Siege wants to grow as a game in a region, wants to grow as a esports, we have to have the right amount of content creators, not from India. मैं तो कहता, if we are doing this podcast from Indian perspective, you put it out there like कि कोई पाकिस्तान region से भी आए podcast करने के लिए, put it out there कि like someone from Bangladesh too can come in. This is how will SA grow basically. But
No,
just by yeah, please go on, please go on.
say, right now, how many teams are there in South Asia who are competing for R6, who are playing barely the game, who are actually,
3, 4 maximum I can see.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
Now,
back in Halki, in your, I mean, at that time, how many
mhm,
teams? There was like 100 teams who qualify, who actually played the qualifier for ESL India
92,
LAN
yes.
series, right? 102 or something.
Mm.
I think
That means,
108 or
yeah,
something.
something. That means at that time, without Ubisoft support, without the game developer support, we were putting time from our, own, like, own life. We were
Understandable.
putting time. That time even there was no support for us. Were we introduced to the global circuit, were we introduced to the international event, but still there were players who loved the game actually. They played 108 teams, played the qualifiers. Now now it's got like, I don't know how many teams will participate or whatever, but at that time there was a huge player base, if you look at. But right now, their ignorance, they didn't take us in the proper step. And right now, lot of players, I know them. I met a lot of players in IRL. And when they talk about their life, when they talk about their future, they tell us like there is no good support. Like the game developer, it's not like, promoting. What should we do? Why should we put our life
Understandable.
risks?
That,
Why
that is
should
that
we?
is that is that is understandable. That is
I think
understandable.
I will say this much though. Once a good tournament comes back, you will see many retired players coming back to this game because this game has a very different addiction as compared to anything else out there.
आई कैन एग्री विद दिस पार्ट। मेरे को शिफ्ट करना होता तो मैं बीजीएम फ्री फायर मस्त स्ट्रीम कर रहा होता। मेरे को होता है नहीं कि मैं सीज छोड़ के एपेक्स स्ट्रीम करूं या
Leaving
कुछ भी।
Siege creates a void that you
Yeah,
just
yeah,
cannot fill,
yeah,
bro.
man. And I just feel in a way कि am I becoming addicted to a particular game, which is a bad thing to be very honest. मेरे like professional career के लिए भी and for a person too, am I becoming too addicted to a specific thing? Because सीज क्या है, गेम ही है ना। गेमिंग सब गेमिंग में 100 चीजें 100 पॉसिबिलिटीज हैं जो मैं कर सकता हूँ। लाइक वो एक डिलेमा अंदर से ऐसा बन जाता है कि लाइक व्हाई आई एम नॉट एक्सप्लोरिंग एनी अदर गेम आउट देयर। क्या मैं
Just for a minute,
रिस्ट्रिक्ट
I
हो रहा
don't
हूँ
know.
अंदर से खुद से? यस यस प्लीज गो ऑन। Like Sparko, I have to add the next question to you only, but we'll take the Nitesh Bhai's take. Like you transfer from like a caster to as a tech as a like you are the talent manager, na? If I'm not wrong, you are the
I'm the project manager at TCS.
project manager. It is like
Sorry.
ऐसा सीज का कास्टर से यू शिफ्टेड, हमने थोड़ा सा उसके बारे में बात जरूर किया है, बट
As a caster, I shifted. Yeah.
हाँ लाइक व्हाई?
Uh, I mean, 2021 was a tough year, so I mean, a lot of things happened, so I couldn't concentrate on the casting part of things, and I mean, I haven't really told a lot of people about it, but yeah, 2020 was a very tough year for me, and I was just not able to focus on casting. Um, and then, like, I did cast a lot of tournaments, but at the same time, casting was something that was, just it just kept me going and going and going every day. And after that, I started. So yeah, a very interesting thing happened actually. Due to personal reasons, a broadcaster was not able to, broadcast the Gauntlet streams, and I already had experience as a broadcaster before, so I picked up the broadcasting role as well. And then eventually, so I was like, I just slowly went to the back end of things, where I started, just managing the entire thing, managing the stream, and then I did get an offer letter for a project manager, and I was like, you know what, why not, let's just give it a shot. So that's why I just shifted from casting to the back end of things now, and I'm a broadcaster, project manager, and I still have a talent for TEC, but I don't cast much nowadays.
Spark, I have one question to you. Like, if you like ऐसा कुछ बोलना है किसी को, you can go on. What do you think about like tech is now teasing something like Ishan is always tweeting about something, but community event is now live and public. Of course. What do you think about that as a player? Like, give your honest opinions about it.
Mine. Are you asking me?
Yeah, Spark. I said
Oh,
Spark.
sorry.
Hmm.
Whatever they're doing, it's good. I won't say like, why are they putting this? I'm really happy with whatever they're doing. But I told you again, I'm sorry to say again, what I'm saying is like players like me who have been playing for 4 to 5 years. I know a lot of players, Arthur, G2, Rattler, a lot of players who are these 3, 4 teams which you guys are calling, right? Hasib, MI7. They are playing from like what I know them
Day
for a
one, you
long
can
time.
call day one
Yeah,
players. Yeah.
they're playing for a
I
long
think
time.
MI7 is like a beta player,
Yeah,
okay?
he was in my team. Like I played LAN with him. Like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, he
so
told me. Yeah.
yeah,
Most of
so
the prominent names that I've always seen in Siege, like since the very beginning and still now, is Sparko and MI7. Like those are the two guys that I always, like everywhere, I just see them like being there for Siege.
Mm,
so what I mean to say is, like, when life goes on, when you will reach at like a certain level, the life responsibility comes up, like
true.
things shows up. Then I don't know how we will interact again. We have to start so they're saying that they're building the ecosystem of Siege, like from the very beginning. It's a step one. I'm really happy. I'm not saying why, like, I'm happy with whatever they're doing. I want new players to come up. I shared in our Bangladesh community. I had like 68 comments, I think, like when I shared the TC about this thing. A lot of players are actually talking with each other. They're saying like, guys, come on, like, let's
खेलते
play
हैं
it.
हाँ.
Then then a lot of players are saying I'm solo. I said you
Solo
can register
register.
individually, yeah.
Hmm.
Like, what I mean, but the thing is, like, as we players, like tier one, or like, I mean, not tier one, I'm saying the old OG players who are playing, like, how, like, how we will take it, because again playing it from the very beginning, again interacting it up. It's a long process, they
Me too,
said,
part.
but I'm worried how. I mean, because we already played for what, 2016, then waited for our RC circuit. Now again this new meta. When I was reading the CGG event, like few days ago, when they were talking about uh, like the Asian Apex scene, so they told like that South Asia, however, Ubisoft didn't tell about South Asia. Out of 12 games in the major, they won one game. It was pointed, okay? It was like mentioned in the article. So basically, maybe they backed off. Okay, giving them a chance is not like, it's not worth it, or I don't know, whatever they thought, or. uh, But again, we have to, like, the players are suffering. Like,
Okay, so
I
if yeah, yeah, go on, Arshad. Your
uh
net is lagging, by the way.
so
Speed.
is it
हाँ, अब
no,
it's
सही
it's
है,
fine on
सही
my
है,
fine.
सही
end.
है, सही है, सही है, अब सही. मेरा नेट हो सकता है.
So basically, no, like I do agree. My ping did spike to yellow for. So basically, the thing is that, see, of course, like the older players have to struggle again because of this like new reboot thing. But I think like this time the approach is more mature, and this is how it should have been in 2020. The jumping on the wagon thing in 2020 did not help out for the scene for the long term, right? They need to create a sustainable environment. How do you do that? You build it from the ground up. If it is only superficial and in the sky directly, so like it will benefit the players surely, but how long will it last? Like one time this scene almost died, now they are trying to revive it again. That's all right.
Exactly.
Imagine if it dies the second time. Like it's like khatam
Yeah,
uske baad to
that
khatam,
is
right?
a very good question. What if it
Uh,
dies
Agar dusri baar
again?
mar gaya.
can I
हाँ,
say one more thing? Like,
please
as
go
a
on.
player,
हाँ, go on.
so like, this is like my personal stuff. Okay, like, I
Go
want to share.
on,
Like,
go on, go on.
so back when I used to play the game, I'm playing the game still, but what I mean to say is, like, when I was like
Some
grinding
condition.
for, like, when I was thinking to make a career out of it. So when usually family comes up, like, they used to worry about our like, future. What will I do? What will be the future? I used to tell them, no, there is a good future. It's a big esports is a big thing. You guys will know, like, when like, I used to tell them, like, it's a big event, it's a big future. But right now, for Siege, I don't know about other games. For Siege, I feel like you can't take it professionally for South Asian, like, because if you are living at
Same,
a, if you are
same goes
going.
for as a caster, as a content creator too.
like I think like yeah, of course, like as a long term career aspect it's a problem right now, but if they do this correctly, then within 2 3 years, maybe if not us players, maybe the future generation can have a chance to do that, right?
Yeah, could be, yeah,
and
could
and
be.
then the thing is, this Siege mobile thing is coming up, so it
Yeah,
will
I want
boost
to
the
put
scene
that
further.
part. I want to put that part. What do you guys
Could be,
think
Bullet
of
yeah,
is
yeah,
Siege
very
Mobile?
excited to put that part in there. So basically, Siege Mobile will get the extreme numbers. People
yeah,
will get
actually.
interested. Hey, how does the
How's the
proper
PC
game on
version?
PC play out?
Yeah, actually, that's a very good point. Like,
And
Yeah,
then that will boost the both Ubisoft's attention for us as PC players, and that will boost the ecosystem for Siege in the region as a whole, right?
because see, bro,
So
I am studying right now game designing. Okay, mobile gaming is purely microtransactions. how you earn from mobile games is you क्या बोलते हैं उसको फ्री वर्जन करके कुछ
Here,
एक
bro,
टर्म
buy this
होता है.
hat, bro. Cool hat.
हाँ. हाँ.
Here, bro, buy this hat. Cool hat. Will look good on your character.
Tara, you
कुछ
didn't
है.
get the joke. It's okay, bullet. Ignore it.
It's okay. It's
अरे
okay. Again,
यार यार मैं बहुत गंदा जोर पकड़ता
they
हूँ
happen.
यार.
Cut.
So basically, the money earning part is in mobile games. So you put in the microtransaction. Now I don't get part where whether Rainbow Six Mobile have very cooler skins to attract the mobile audience, whether they will put in paid to win skins because they cannot basically जैसा फ्री फायर और थोड़ा बहुत बीजीएमआई में भी है थोड़ा बहुत है फ्री फायर में तो काफ़ी है इन द मेनली रैंक गेम्स द नॉर्मल रैंक गेम्स बीजीएमआई वैसा नहीं है. I don't know how it will attract Ubisoft, but see, मोबाइल अपने साउथ का जो एशिया का मार्केट इज अ वेरी मच अ मोबाइल सेंट्रिक मार्केट ओनली. पीसी it is not the amount of money mobile market is in the amount of money PC kabhi for next 20 years at least 25 at least cannot match it. But when it comes to like कि Ubisoft का जब attention as a whole in a region पड़ेगा तो definitely like see at the where the success level of Free Fire and BGMI ecosystem even if 50% of what Rainbow Six Mobile achieves it right it will definitely affect the PC scene because
Im-
attention काफी ज़्यादा Rainbow Six Siege as a overall ecosystem पे पड़ेगा. So this is what I personally believe.
imagine how lucrative the mobile market in India must be that their one company's game gets banned once and they make an Indian specific version out of it.
That is something
Imagine
other
how
topic.
lucrative it is.
No,
Ha, I'm
again,
talking about how lucrative it is, right? Like if they are willing to invest that much in it, the market is definitely there, right? It is not a matter of question. Everybody knows
Yeah,
it.
BGMI is
again,
still
the
Asian
successful.
market
Yeah.
is still
question,
crazy.
yeah, again, the question comes is why exactly that lucrative market, especially for that specific game, because it's very easy to play. Like,
Exactly.
I am not gonna lie. People might think that R6 Mobile coming in is a boon for everyone and it might be very easy, but it's not.
It's
We
not.
know how complex R6 is, and people are going to find it very difficult to adapt to a game on mobile. And it's going to be very difficult. Like, okay, it's like for even for PC players, right? Especially for me, I come from an FPS background already, but I still had to give in a few months in order to get that perfection for Siege and understanding the level from a very different point of view. But it's going to be very difficult for all of these battle royale players to jump into Siege and then try it out. Okay, without the proper guidance, it's going to be very difficult for them, and in order to get that guidance, it's going to take a long time. And till that time, we know the amount of patience gamers have, so they might even drop the game.
I
As
think
in,
Yeah.
like,
the
I
This
can't play
is
this.
this is why COD Mobile India failed. In COD Mobile in India, basically how it failed because it was definitely not a BR game. It was more focused on a 5v5 tactical shooter. Same how the COD PC version works internationally in the esports sector. This is why and
Correct.
like वो ignore हुआ था Activision Blizzard ने ignore किया region को. That is another thing. But still there are teams like Team Vitality are still providing funding and all houses. मतलब जो भी होता है proper और का वो अभी भी कर रहे हैं because they believe in. वो अलग अलग बात है. But I just feel कि I'll give it a very clear example. Literacy rate in India is very low compared to other regions. अब कोई नया बंदा अगर R6 Mobile सीखना चाहता है, I'll put it in a very very simple way, and he just like types it Rainbow Six Mobile in India guides. जो बंदा कोई भी अगर करेगा, this is how PUBG मोबाइल वर्क. किसी को बी आर के बारे में उतना like जब मोबाइल पे PUBG मोबाइल केम इन वो भी बहुत ज़्यादा कम्प्लेक्स था कंपेयर टू दी प्रीवियस मोबाइल गेम्स. इट्स सिंपल एज दैट. उस टाइम कंटेंट क्रिएटर्स थे है ही नहीं यहाँ पे कोई. Is there any guy out there making Rainbow Six Mobile like Rainbow Six Siege का guides from Pakistan, from Bangladesh, from Sri Lanka, from India? कोई है?
like even if you don't make guides, make daily content in a way that
Sparko
people
के
can
एक
learn
दो
from
videos
it.
थे,
हाँ?
ठीक है. Sparko had 1 to 2 videos, but it's okay.
नहीं 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 like
I tried. I'm
consistency
not a good editor.
consistency वो रहनी पड़ेगी वो like वो regular रहना पड़ेगा. This is like वो पूरा एक ऐसा region. This is why the whole podcast का मेरा वही एक vision है कि when Rainbow Six Mobile comes in or even when the whole announcement the big announcement comes in ऐसा नहीं हो कि when Ubisoft is now interested in the region वो एकदम से ऐसा back off कर जाए. क्योंकि मेरे को पता है टेक पे होगा ज्यादा व्यूअरशिप आएगी. आई कैन से 250 300. नाउ नितेश इज फ्रॉम द मोर इनटू द ई-स्पोर्ट्स इनसाइड. ऐसा उनको पता है. मैं अभी बहुत नया हूँ. 200 300 is not the number that you want to show to a brand for sponsor. I can bluntly say out there because more other games are fueling up more viewership. So this is how I feel ki esports like as a business works, right? If you go out there, if you ask sponsorship from a brand, they will just say like, ठीक है आपके आईपी में कितना आ रहा है, इसके आईपी में कितना आ रहा है, हम आप पे में क्यों लगाएं? You have to give out the region. वो depend भी करता है कैसा
Firstly,
relationship है.
firstly, I
But
think they need to get a lot right to even get 300 live viewers in this like
मैं
game,
example
because
दिया, मैं एक example
the
दिया.
the only time I saw that number for Siege in this region was the nationals coverage, and that was community coverage. That was not
Actually,
even.
can I say I was actually talking about that? I was thinking about it.
Please
So,
go on, go on.
if you look at Singapore, I mean the other region players, those who are in Pro League, they have good players. It's getting streamed internationally. I mean, people all over the Korea, Japan. I mean, all over the Asia community as well as outside internationally, people are watching it. Okay, cool. But those who made into like PL, they are. I mean, those are the team. But apart from them, there are a lot of teams who actually didn't have anything. They were complaining in Twitter, the Singaporean and a lot of teams, that we don't have nothing. Before that, we had qualifiers. Now APAC League is there, which you will have the relegation after a year. But meanwhile, what will we do? Then CA Championship came up. Okay, and that also is also hosted by official Ubisoft. The game itself, it's promoting. Like they have the caster, they have like they are basically, what I mean to say is it's not local, it's directly handling through Ubisoft. What's there for us? Like, did we ever get
See,
anything
Sparko,
officially from
Sparko, we are
Ubisoft?
getting to a similar one topic like what is there for. See, I will put it simply out there. In our Indian subcontinent, there's not a lot of market for like to Ubisoft to come in. They'll just see the numbers. I will give you a very fair example. Me and Jax were casting the Hindi Rainbow Six Japan Championship. It was the first time a major like see for me as a caster, it was a very big boost for my casting career. Anyone can agree for and this panel in the chat. How many people were watching at that time? Day
To
one
be
में भी
honest,
casted
the
very bad.
timing for that was very tricky to be in, bro.
Bro, मैं 4:30 बजे उठा हूँ 6:30 बजे तैयार होने के
हाँ,
लिए.
तो उस समय देखना बहुत tricky था. Like I won't lie to you. I tried, bro. I sincerely tried.
If you're saying about the numbers and stuff, right? Then why did we had very good viewers in back in August major, November major? Why did we just playing between MR season and UG?
Because bro,
Nothing.
they were
But but but
you guys are the top teams from your region.
it was
हमारे
getting
region के
People
basically.
showed interest,
no,
right?
no,
Like
People,
what
people
does the
it was getting officially streamed. There were casters. There were like officially studio in the
yeah, that
it
I
was
will
getting,
agree.
yeah, that
Production
yeah.
what
standard was much higher.
yeah it, and it was directly the Ubisoft was handling it basically. We had good viewers. If you go to the Twitch, you will see how many viewers were there in the finals, semifinals. How?
I
Because
think
Ubisoft was like putting a lot of efforts, like for the region itself. They're putting their
अच्छा,
caster observation.
do you guys think if
if
Rainbow
you
Six Mobile comes in and थोड़ा बहुत भी boom होता है तो it will affect PC
हाँ
scene
नहीं,
overall?
that it will, that it will.
See,
But will it
Nitesh
see?
Nitesh
name
bhai has
will
to say
go.
बताइए
something
भैया,
and
बोलिए,
Halki and say something. Please go on.
Nah, see,
Me and Sparko are only trying to talk over here.
the name itself might grow Rainbow Six in general, but it will not get the mobile players to buy a PC and start playing Siege. मतलब, you
ये
won't
तो
get
है,
mobile
ये तो
players to
है.
buy a PC. But you will see Rainbow Six as a name growing.
Yeah.
Maybe to a certain extent कि Ubisoft starts noticing ऐसे, but nah, उसके ऊपर कुछ नहीं.
The huge market for SA, like mobile in like see a lot of kids, lot of guys. They have like everyone has like basically what is free accessible, it will grow
Mm.
market. Mobile, you have everyone has mobile in the family, everyone, but not a lot of people doesn't have good PC. I told that earlier also. So PC, everyone can play the game, they just install and they start playing the game. It's like I see a lot of kids, like, or a lot of like I have a lot of cousins, they play a lot of games, Free Fire, PUBG. Like according to what I understood, like their perspective, their PC, their parents won't get them PC at this age. So,
Mhm.
but mobile, they're using it. Like the family needs it. The parents are using it. Okay, and meanwhile, they play through it. Like, and a lot of players play it in different way. But a lot of players doesn't have PC. Like what Hulky said, like the Rainbow Six Siege name will grow, but I don't think so. A lot of huge player base will shift to PC
It
and
will have a trickle down effect, but it will
It
not
will have a
directly
trickle down.
make
Directly ऐसा नहीं
Ubisoft's
होगा.
job
हाँ.
easier, right? So see,
Exactly.
they will still need to work out. I'll tell you one example. You remember ESL India tournament back in 2019? I did not check Twitch for that, but just on YouTube alone, we had like 1,500 to 2,000 live viewers
Yeah,
on the first day itself.
first day.
So you
It had
can't say that
2000.
this region does not have interest, okay? But the thing is, out of the three nationals in 2021, the first one was streamed very well. Second one was streamed, I think, this like last 2 days, and during the third nationals time, Kickstar like his demise took place. So they did not allow the stream for any of the matches, and we were getting insanely good viewership in a community run stream. Okay,
Community admins were handling, basically no involvement of
for free.
official. Yeah, I know that. I still remember. Even even back then there was this OCI was going in, OCM, Oceanic
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 Nationals,
yeah.
nationals were
and we
going.
had
Yeah.
we had better viewers than that.
More viewers than them.
Yep.
Okay, and you can't give the viewership argument for Siege actually, because if you remember, Latam in the beginning, season 2 and 3 of Pro League, and APAC till up to even 2019.
Yep.
As I told you, right? South Korea had what, 2 3 teams. Australia also did not have that many teams, but they were good teams, all right. But they were not as many teams. Viewership was niche, but they were being supported actively. So
Yeah.
support matters a lot, even
Yeah.
if it's a niche game. I'll tell you, Call of Duty Modern, like this is a very stupid example. Okay,
अरे
Call of
gamer
Duty
go
Modern
on
Warfare
यार, go
3
on.
Modern Warfare 3 is such an old archaic game right now. There is a very small competitive community that still lives for that game to this day, and the
हाँ.
viewership is very less, but people support it, right?
People
So the
supported,
support, the
Ubisoft
support thing is
supported.
a big thing. Like you can't just go behind the wheel of viewership and say, hey, if we don't have 10,000 viewers, we're not gonna do anything, because there are niche games out there. See, niche games do make it work even with lesser viewership, but the structure has to be smarter. And I think the support, like the structure for now is good. This community cup is good. It needs to motivate. Suppose I am Ashrit in 2018. I
Yeah,
see
exactly,
Sparko playing
exactly.
ICGC. I'm like, wow, this game has a competitive scene also. I'll go try it out. Credits are a way to reach that lower section of society, to motivate them into playing again. So if they do
Lower
this long term
sections नहीं नहीं
approach,
ऐसे नहीं बोलते बाबा.
अरे
New
यार
new
मतलब
players,
not
lower
lower
section
section,
of the
sorry, that is wrong word the newer
दूसरे दिन
players are
podcast
growing
बंद
players
करवाएगा.
growing players, sorry,
What?
bad wording, but
Yes.
basically thing is, like our generation, Sparko and I, maybe we won't be able to earn before real life kicks in.
हाँ
Hasib
हाँ.
had to retire. Hasib, like he loves this game so much, real life is pretty much the only thing that is stopping him from playing this game. Okay, so he literally retires, then new season comes, then he says, new season, new me.
Sparko, I wanted to ask, is Shukishima Senpai still there at the scene, or has he just
He
retired?
still
I
enjoys playing the game.
he plays the game. I played few days ago with him rank.
Oh,
Like,
he still plays, right?
yeah, rank.
Oh,
He
check
plays.
out his Twitter, bro. He trash talks a lot on Twitter. That's the
Awesome.
only thing I live.
So
Oh man, I like him with that shield. I mean,
so
Yeah,
he just
just
can't.
few days ago only. Like, there's a server where all the Bangladeshi players are there. Like,
Yeah.
so when I don't find anyone, I like go there and play with them.
I
Uh,
still, I still remember him, dude. Like on border, my god, this guy,
used to ban Blitz for him.
dude.
Yeah.
People used to target ban. Okay, like this
Yeah,
is Insta ban blitz because Tsukishima is playing on the other side. Like that guy is just scary. Okay, like insane. And
Fukushima
we
goat ना.
had, we had Ninja Freak with the mountain. How can you forget him?
oh yeah,
Ninja Freak with the
that
mountain.
is correct.
I mean, which map was it? Forgot. Villa.
Bro, do you
Clash,
forget
Clash Nationals,
Sparko on Twitch? Sparko on
हल्की भाई आपका mic उड़ रहा है
Spark on
हमें.
Twitch. Oh, yeah.
Sparko on
Castle,
Twitch, yeah.
Dude, Villa,
Sparko,
right?
Twitch, Castle,
On,
Buck.
on
I
Villa,
remember all
on
of it.
Ninja Freak. Ninja Freak used to play for Mercenaries that time. Villa, it was against Quantum Jeevan, or I don't know which team was it against. Not sure. Villa, and this Ninja Freak was playing Mountain. Oh, dude, that guy single-handedly just finished off that entire game. It was so good.
So yeah, overall यही आता है. We do have very talented players. The Ubisoft supports needs to be there for our region.
Again,
And then
About the
I just
talented.
wanted to,
Yeah,
yeah, I
sure,
just,
no, go on, go on.
and
yeah,
Ashish is biased. Ashish, please go on.
I just wanted to add on that viewership part. Okay, so technically, bringing in a mobile version of the game won't actually improve the PC part of it. For example, we have PUBG Mobile and BGMI. Even though the mobile market is just very huge and pretty insane, if you look at PUBG PC tournaments, they don't really get that big of a viewership. I mean, unless of course.
But
Uh,
that's a logic. That's a logic behind it. ना PUBG PC as a game, वो
Yeah.
लोग वो changes नहीं कर रहे थे जो जरूरत था. Apex Legend did the changes. Other COD Warzone came in and play massive player base पूरा एकदम उठ के चला गया उधर. And nobody, like very less players in world. If you
It's
look at the worldwide numbers of PUBG PC2, it dropped down to like millions, ऐसा लाख में आ गया वो.
it's more of how exactly you market it, in my opinion. I mean,
Exact. No, alright, basically
big,
yes. Like
big,
even
big influencers, big players. Okay, now, for example, if I get Scout or Mortal to play R6 Mobile and actually guide their entire
did
player
you
base
just
on
leak
R6.
something?
No, I'm just saying I did not leak anything. Like they got nothing to do with this, and I got nothing to do with this. But
So
to be
good.
completely honest, if Mortal or Scout, even Gata for that reason, they have pretty great numbers, and if they actually sit and guide their audience as to how exactly this game works, well, I mean, it can do wonders for the scene.
I
They
can give
can
out
actually.
give out an example on Call of Duty Warzone. Basically, there's a guy called Abhishek Sharma, aka Mackle. He's a very good Warzone player. Sick Warrior, take it for example. They all mostly Mackle played with Scout. And look at those numbers, how many people are watching it. That's not because of the Scout. That's his skills and his amount of engagement that he's carrying on. But as a whole, Call of Duty Warzone became a very big thing. Nvidia GeForce was doing in tournaments. Many other TOs came in with like kill race for a tournament. Custom hota nahi hai Warzone mein. So basically, influencer and content creators have a very big hand in growing up. The overall
Yeah,
scene of it.
and and it's very important because see, most of the players, right, especially in the mobile market is very fragile, and if you don't guide them properly, can lead to a big problem. And it's very important for all of these influencers as well to just go ahead and tell them, ki, hey, there's this game out there. If they're enjoying it, then you should give it a shot as well. Maybe you will
I
like
can
it.
I can
And
bluntly say in on podcast I told everything like जितने भी मेरे यूवी लोगों से बात होती है मैंने सिंपली यही बात बोला like you have to market Rainbow Six and जो भी आपका हमारा आने वाला है पीसी के अनाउंसमेंट की you have to market it very properly to be very and promote it on a very like take it for example you have to pick up those people as well who are from the scene from day one and you have to pick up the bigger content creators and the bigger influencers. I can bluntly say on this slide मेरा इस पे बहुत strong opinions है.
uh, about like the new talent you guys like said, right? Like, see, if you look at Elevate, I Sridhar or other guys, I don't know if you followed you Elevate in last
Elevate
major, yeah,
जानते
it's
जानते yeah.
in SI. So they didn't make it to international event officially. I mean, like before this SI, I guess, right? I mean, what I mean to say is like playing against like the NA,
Yeah, it's the
Latam,
first LAN
yeah,
event.
and people were actually surprised. Oh my God, who are these guys? They were winning, like they were destroying a lot of teams. Like they won against a lot of teams, right? I think like a lot of you Latam, like they didn't play against them,
I
never.
think they beat TSM 2-0, right?
Yeah, I mean, suddenly a new team came up from APAC and like started winning, and they didn't never play any international event.
Yeah,
So
to like break it down Sparko, if you want like कि अपने ऐसे region से team उठ के जाए वहाँ पे so basically you need more competitive experience like tournaments होने चाहिए from our region to go on against with them ताकि वो
the APAC
experience आ
league,
पाए.
yeah, playing
Okay.
against each other, yeah, it's a good thing. I'm not saying it like it's a very good thing, but we need to play against the players who are in the other side, like who are playing, who are taking this game as their like career, like because see we have like a lot of things in our life to do. Then in spare of in the time we do stuff, we play. Okay, that's it. But those players, they are just playing the game. They don't have. I don't think so. Like their main job, their main priority is this game. Obviously, they are putting all their 100% efforts like in the game.
Elevate is a proper org, no, if I'm not wrong, it's a proper
Yeah,
org.
yeah. It's
Elevate
about
has other teams in other
Elevate
games too.
has been supporting this like roster or like since what Thailand League in 2018-19, if I'm not wrong,
yeah.
Sparko.
Yep.
wow.
Thailand League.
They
They have
had a
every
academy roster
region,
also.
every like APAC, apart from APAC League,
हल्की भाई
they
कुछ
have
तो बोल लो.
they have their own suppose Thailand have Thailand League. This Korean has Korean Open Cup. This Indonesia, Singapore have their SEA championship. OCA has their OCA nationals. They have their own separate, which is like which helps them like to prepare for the international scene.
Yeah, if our nationals was like a league instead of a best,
Yep,
double elimination, scene would have been different. Make it a rotating system. Teams rotate in and
bro.
out
Our
every
format.
season.
If you remember the the format of SA National, it was back in that time. If you win nationals, it doesn't matter. But then they reverted it and they said that top two teams automatically qualifies for the national, right?
Yeah.
But back in that, the pressure for us was insane. August major, right? We had 4 qualifiers, single elimination. Doesn't matter. Suppose if the good teams are in the same bracket continuously for 3 qualifiers, and from the other bracket there is no good team, they come up, they qualify for national. And in this, and meanwhile, the good teams who actually are in the same bracket, they fight each other and they, like, the
Understandable.
on so, okay, first thing. Second thing, as a national, double elimination. You come up, if you win the major, you get the R6 sorry, the world champion points. That's not enough. That's not enough. You have to win the next major. And first team has I mean, they will get the point only. So basically, if you have to win back to back, and the second major, right, you have to again qualify from the
Ground up.
ground. Yeah, no, you
Yeah.
have to again qualify from single elimination. With that
I
pressure,
And
that
remember this.
with that pressure, thinking that you have to become first again, because the last major you won, it doesn't matter, you get a good prize money and blah blah. But if you want to go to the next stage, you have to win the next major also. How many teams apart from G2 have won back to back major? Not Asia, talk about you, Latam. How many teams have won back to back major? PDS won next major, Empire won, NA, TSM won, or some DZ won. And
I think
how,
August it was SSG, then it was TSM,
yeah, I mean,
something
basically
like
what
that.
I'm saying is, like, even the pro players can't even
Ah,
like,
repeat a
they were
victory.
not
Yeah,
Sparko,
consistent.
can I
yeah,
can I
yeah,
can I can I
yeah,
ask a
yeah.
one very very like like ऐसा एकदम बहुत random throw आ रहा है मेरे दिमाग में. If you get a shot at SI, like what do you think, like अपन अपना region कहाँ तक stand करेगा, like if we get a shot at SI?
So we had a shot at SI, bro. They
Just
lost, bro.
one map away,
One map, man. One freaking map, bro.
one map
Oh
away.
god.
I think
Like, I'm just
if
saying,
we
like
made it,
you are
if
there
we made it that
representing. Yeah,
that time,
you are there representing at the LAN SI 2022.
uh,
Like it's like take it at 2024, 2023. Like, what do you think? Like, if your team, your
I
current five stack,
I think I'm not saying it's a big chance we like destroy them or like something. I'm not
ना,
saying that.
अरे
Like,
go on, मतलब जो भी
no,
दिल
no.
में आता
But
है, you can
I
just say.
think, but like, I don't know. A lot of teams doesn't know that. So for this, like you said, right, to get that shot in SI, we had a outside international level coach, by the way, who was in PL, by the way. He was in Vitality, like ex coach, like as an analyst. We hired him in UG,
Hmm.
and
Mhm.
and we have to pay him, obviously, right? We we said, like, we'll put from our the salary which we were getting, we'll put from our money. We don't need it. I mean, we need it. We don't need the whole amount. We'll put the rest of the most of the amount to him, because we want to learn from him. We want to, like, get the. We don't want the
Understanding.
money. Like, for us, the teaching level was like, we kept it as a first priority. So so just think, if you get a shot, what would you do? You would like go.
Yeah.
You
Bro,
would like
जाके
put
सीख
out.
के आएंगे. We'd
Yeah.
learn as much
A-
as possible. Probably we'll come back winless, but we'll learn so much that,
And if
we
you
can
make
we
it
can
right,
have a chance of winning.
if you would make it right, I think it was a big, good, very good news for SA. Like, I mean, the whole world would recognize South Asia, or like India, Bangladesh. They would recognize them officially, not into a major, directly to SI.
Be
Like
right back
do
calling
you
Asif again.
do you guys think there is a toxicity, like हमने इसके बारे में बात किया है episode 1 में भी, toxicity and attitude problem between the players, because I personally feel Rainbow Sixes का जो overall जो scene है, it's at a very very primitive stage, and to grow this कुछ भी आता है, even if it's tech, even if it's any other TO out there, even if it's directly by Ubisoft. See, Ubisoft खुद आके tournament नहीं करेगा. Ubisoft will give out the anything, the support, the financial support, anything, एक budget देगा, and it will go out to any other TO out there. Even if it's tech today, even if it's any other कुछ भी है, like take it for example, there are many TOs, not when there are many, तो ऐसा चलता है. तो I just personally feel कि ego, toxicity, player attitude, जो भी होता है, if comes under the umbrella of the whole toxicity, they think, even if as a viewer, even if it is a casual player, वैसा साइड में रखना पड़ेगा. And The community needs to unite it as a whole unit. I personally feel that. Like constantly observing the scene from past like 2015, may I played Operation Hell 2016 is when I saw first tournament on PC, and then like console के लिए कुछ नहीं हो रहा. So I just feel in that way कि there's a lot of toxicity. See, I'm not saying कि other esports में toxicity नहीं है, but I still feel when I open anything, कुछ भी announce होता है, majority of the players take it very very negatively, and this needs to be stopped. If you want कि Ubisoft
maybe.
आके यहाँ पे attention दे तो. Do you guys
ये
agree
कुछ
with this
नहीं कर
fact?
सकते bro. That's true. See, I'll open up the TEC tweet itself, and you can see there are positive as well as negative comments as well. I mean, there are
Yeah.
more positives this time. I'm happy about that. But you really can't stop it at this point. Yeah, you can. If there are kids that are below 18, maybe you can teach them. At this point, के मतलब
वो तो
once
और
you're
नहीं
gonna be
समझेंगे.
18. Bro, nahi, I've been teaching a few kids. I've been having a few kids.
Project
ऐसा
A
beta.
मेरे side.
few kids
Yeah, I
teaching.
mean
Okay.
Project Beta. I mean
Project
not
beta.
not in
हाँ.
my basement kind of a thing, but Project Beta sort of a thing. So
Okay.
wherein there were people like Viper, Zedux, Silence. They're
Ions.
nice people. Yeah, Ions and एक और बंदा था यार. Sorry, भूल गया उसका नाम. But
Viper, Viper shifted to
yeah,
Valorant, isn't he?
no, no,
He
no, no,
still
no,
loves
no,
his
no, no.
game too much. He is
Uh,
insanely good at that
Second
game, but
season.
he loves Siege too much, bro. Too
Yeah.
much.
In
they,
the in the recent
they
times, I did
no,
see
two
him
horses.
playing Valorant, and I was like, man, I'm gonna miss him in Siege if he's not gonna be playing Siege anymore.
Yeah, no, no, no. He still plays Siege. He's like Ajay Devgan on two horses. दोनों भाग
Oh,
रहे हैं
okay.
एक साथ. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I
I mean, I
mean,
don't blame him. Like the state of the game was that like you had to do something, and most of the players did make the shift. But I'm glad that he's still in the scene. But yeah, Viper, I see a lot of the players just going ahead and putting in the work as well. So I really appreciate that. But at the same time, this attitude is kind of a problem as well in the scene that a lot of players have to work on. Like I still remember the time I was managing the Rainbow Six project as well on Elite Hubs, and oh, it was a nightmare.
वो
Like
बाहर से
there,
देखने में नाइटमेयर लग रहा था मुझे. आई एम लाइक ब्रो, अब मैं बैक एंड में आई एम कनेक्टेड टू
yeah.
ई-स्पोर्ट्स, तो समझ में आता है वो चीजें, हाउ इट डज रियली इफेक्ट एज अ टीओ एंड हाउ इट डज रियली इफेक्ट एज अ कास्टिंग टैलेंट. वो अब चीजें समझ में आती है. तो
Like that time, I was the one who was observing. I was the one who was casting. I was the one who was
we know.
broadcasting. So yeah, like it was like I'm also the admin in the thing. So it's like all of these players just going ahead and having that banter in the game and just throwing chat at the organizers and throwing chat at the talents, the casters, this that. I mean, damn, it was actually a nightmare. But at the same time, like if they can just go ahead, become a little bit more adaptive, understand how exactly esports work, understand how exactly the circuit is going to grow eventually, and just have patience for that long term dream of all of these people, then I guess it's
Yeah,
it's going to
I
be
agree with
good.
Neil Pass on comments. Players need media training. Like any other org is coming in siege after tech announces, जो भी आ रहा है हमारा announcement, बहुत organizers आने वाले हैं और वो siege का टीम उठाएंगे. I can bluntly say, अब salary दे या नहीं दे, but they will make a team. उनको अपने में रखना पड़ेगा कि how your players like communicate with the on the social media and how players communicate with the TOs. ये एक रखना पड़ेगा. I just feel you have to keep it in there in the rule book of your contract.
and
कि
and
if
I'm
you
just going to be brutally honest, like I'm giving an overhead look of the entire map. I'm not exposing your stats, I'm sorry.
अरे बाप रे बाप.
yeah, man, that's true. And you do
Oh
have
my
a
god,
few
we saw Welcome
people
Bow
muted,
rightfully
right?
destroyed.
I
Yeah.
mean, we all mute a few people on Twitter because they rant a lot. But yeah, that's all obviously gonna be
Like
there.
Yeah, I mean, see, because they don't understand. The thing is, they don't have enough exposure as to how exactly a certain tactical shooter works. When a customer, or an analyst, or an observer is trying to give you an overhead look of what exactly is happening, he's just trying to talk about what exactly is happening. He's
And
trying to
siege में
give you a guidance. He's trying to,
सी
make
इन
you
सीज
teach.
में इन सीज में यू हैव टू डू दैट. तुम नहीं करोगे तो तुम रेनबो सिक्स कास्टर बोल ही नहीं सकते खुद को यार.
The thing is, Rainbow Six has so many layers. It's not even like you can just see through it. There are there are floors, there are layers, and you just have to go into that like you need to go into that cam in order to just go ahead and just narrate the entire storyline as to what exactly is happening in the round. And then I just see
So
people just bashing me, saying that he's just exposing stats, and I'm like, okay, what's happening? I don't understand
chill,
this.
dude.
And
Chill, assassin, bhai,
Assassin,
chill.
do you know the funniest part? Once we get like reintegrated into the circuit again, the replay files will be released to the public. Then Leo
Yeah,
and other people will be analyzing them openly. Okay, how will you save your strats then, bro?
Yeah, पहले तो
yeah,
replay feature नहीं था.
The
Yeah.
replay files are released now to the public, like
yeah.
a lot. Like even though I know they crash a lot, okay, but you can still get something out of it. Your
To
welcomes will be visible, bro.
chill, bro. Okay.
Okay, I don't understand
Sparko RV.
this point
Halki, we
as
cannot hear you
to.
properly.
Was Alki saying something?
We are not pointing fingers at Sparko, are we, about the map thingy?
I don't think so. No,
No, no, no, no.
Okay, okay, okay.
We have to come.
Sparko.
Huh,
Don't
that
care
was in
matter,
general.
yeah.
I don't even remember,
Yeah.
by the way, who did that.
I don't
Uh,
even remember which team was
I
it,
have
but
few names, but I won't speak them out loud, yeah.
yeah,
Chill, 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 chill,
yeah.
chill, chill, chill.
Like the thing is, Sparko has been very, very understanding as to how exactly everything works. So that was never a problem. But the thing is, a lot of others, right? Like they really had certain issues as to, hey man, why is he showing the Valcap, dude? That's where you're placing it. That's what you're doing pre-round. What am I supposed to talk about in the pre-round? How good your skins are?
To
No, I
put to
can't do
put this put this put this very equally right here. मैं siege cast मेरा मेरा siege में दिल है भाई. मैं मेरे को आज के में अगर the rates I'm getting for Free Fire अगर उसका half भी देगा ना, and there's a proper ecosystem in our region, I'll still get back to siege casting. But the thing is कि this like Rainbow Six Siege like इतना effort लगता है cast करने में, वो बाकी other games में नहीं लगता है. Dude, I can just go on and tell कि 90% of the Indian Free Fire casters are shit. I can put this on a record right now. And many people who wants to improve at that price, I can say that. But when it comes to siege, you have to put that detail out there. You have to put that detail out there because वो इतना beautiful game है भाई. उसमें मतलब in Free Fire, I talk there. I can namely like fingers पे बता सकता हूँ मैं. There are 5-6 things. I'm comparing. मैं ऐसा proper comparison नहीं, but एक personal perspective से बता रहा हूँ. 5-6 चीजें बातें करने के अलावा, abilities के अलावा और कुछ भी नहीं है किसी एक BR game में. When it comes to like Valorant and even and Siege, there are hundred of things that you can talk about. ऐसा नहीं होता है कि a caster can just go मतलब बीच में शांति आ जाएगी, especially when there's a co-caster at your desk. But in other games, that can happen. That can definitely, and there's so many things not to talk about. So I can relate to that fact.
Yeah, it's just it's like like even when I was casting Siege, I felt this like the adrenaline rush that I used to get while casting Siege because I don't really have to put a dead air. Like there's never
Yeah,
a moment where I have to just put a dead air in order to not make it
it
awkward. Like
it it
the
it
moment
used to
it's
challenge us
over,
as a caster to improve ourselves.
exactly. Like I was constantly on that rush ki bhai isne ye kaise kiya? How did he do that? Like how is this possible? How is that possible? And it was always like, okay, this is how exactly he did it. And it's just fascinating to see many ways of approaching a particular site or something like that. So I feel as if, Siege as a game is very, very interesting. Yes, it might not be spectator friendly because it's complex at start,
Yeah.
but eventually I feel as if, once people do get an idea and with the proper guidance, it's just going to be an amazing sport.
So like
True,
put
true.
it from Sparko Assassin because we have to end the podcast. We are getting not getting late क्योंकि it's
Hmm.
starting episodes में ये जाएगा Ashrit and Assassin भाई,
Yeah.
Halki, Assassin भाई and Sparko da. What pointers like you can go one by one? You think like if Siege wants to grow in our region, what are the pointers? कि ये चीज गलत हो रही है, इस चीज को सही करना पड़ेगा like from your perspective. Because we have one manager, we have one caster, we have one like a guy who is working with a TO, associated with you, and you as a player. So we can have that perspective right up, like feedback from you guys.
Well, let's start with the players. Why not?
Sparko भाई, Sparko da go on.
it should.
ये क्या था?
There was my
I think it
phone.
should be a first. It should be a long-term plan. The league system, not like a small tournament, like which will end after a few
One second,
days.
I'll get back.
Okay.
Like it should be a long-term plan. Like it should not end like you just play a tournament, semi-final, final, it's over. Okay, you are the champion. You take the prize money. It should not be like that. It should be in a league system, like where players get to play against each other. Like you will get the point system, and as a player, we should support. I mean, the community, everyone should support the TOs, like the streams, the casters, everybody. Like I see it. I What happened is like actually people are watching the game, but what happened is they're watching in a live party. Basically, suppose one guy is streaming in the Discord, everybody's joining. in
Uh,
joining them. And suppose actually 10-15 people are watching it, but with that Discord live watching through it in a party, like, you know what I mean to say, like the support,
Viewership.
the
Yeah.
viewership part is missing right now. Like if you look at it, I say to my players, like like just like they are doing the casters are doing that, TOs are putting a lot of money, just support them. We have to show the numbers, like whatever they're doing, we have to show them the support. If there's putting this much of amount, like, or this much of support, we should show them like support. Like I see what I hate is, like, I'm not hating, like they watch a Discord live party, 20 people are joining, 15 party in one stream YouTube. The whole lot of the viewership is missing. Second part is
the
like
third part, no?
sorry, the third part
Uh,
is like I want us, like the South Asian teams, to get into the APAC league somehow, or like give us a spot. I told you earlier also, like so that we experience against them. Maybe we'll get destroyed. Maybe we'll get destroyed or whatever, but we should feel the experience. Like we should know, because playing against them in Scream, playing against them in a tournament, it's a different thing. Because we played against lot of tier APAC, PL, Fnatic. I just saying the names, Fnatic, and a lot of teams. Dam One, Elevate. In Scream, it's different. The game day, it's different. So
yeah, this point was there in episode 1. We discussed about this. Yeah.
okay. So we should, like, like get used to, like, since we were introduced late, I think it's high time we should play against them, not just like once upon a time. Just we should play against them very frequently in, and like so that we get to know, we get to build ourselves. Uh, these are the thing which I felt, and yeah, let's see. We'll
Did my internet crashed? Are we
No,
live?
no,
No,
Yeah,
no,
we are
no,
live.
no, no,
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
no.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
still there.
Oh, okay, okay. And from you, Helkida, what do you
Arey
think?
yaar, it's right now. It's more like we are on a deadlock. Okay, I mean, players won't put in efforts until there are tournaments. Tournaments won't happen until there's a viewership. Viewership won't happen until money is put in. तो it's like a triangle right now. कहीं ना कहीं से एक spike चाहिए, तो दूसरा spike आएगा, दूसरा spike आएगा, तीसरा spike आएगा.
uh,
That way it's going to happen. So
Uh,
I
one
mean, yeah.
sorry to
yeah,
say,
please,
I got
please
a
go
comment
on.
saying that 11 times, to be precise, we got destroyed. If you look back in 2017-18, how many teams from I told you earlier, the APAC
Yeah.
teams, I mean, the who are dominating right now, look at their back records. Did they dominate it easily, this easily? If you look at them, I know they went to like Australia a couple of times and they didn't like get the result. I know they put a lot of efforts, but they didn't get the result immediately. And you are thinking that we'll just show up in the major, we in the playoff day we'll play against them and we'll destroy them. How, bro? How is it possible if you're playing against, like,
I
it's like
think assassin that the like see putting it on right like see what tech is doing with Valorant. Like again I'm putting it as a suggestion because you are a representative of basically tech right now in our podcast. So yeah,
Okay.
I am just giving a feedback. The same thing which is happening. It was kind of there were Singapore teams competing with the top tier in our region. So if
Yes.
that kind of format get introduced, मैंने पहले ही बोला, if that kind of format get introduced for Siege, so I think it will raise up the level of the skill, the competitive skill for our top tier
Yeah, I mean,
teams in
not
our
really
region.
sure. Not really sure what's in the works. Like, got no details whatsoever. But that point actually does make sense. I mean, if there is a little bit of an international exposure, makes sense for players to grow and learn a lot about how exactly the sport works. But again, it just comes down to how exactly the teams and the players are going to take it, right? I mean, they need to be open and adaptive towards the game and the sport instead of just thinking that, hey, we made it towards or against that Singapore team or against that international team, so like we are eventually going to lose. No, that's not the mindset that you are supposed to move in with. So move in with how exactly we can tackle their ways and how exactly we can learn and adapt from that, and just move on to become stronger.
True.
So from your side, Shasan, as a talent, as a TO guy, what 3 pointers you feel the Siege will grow in as a that
Um,
the
I
same
believe,
same
yeah, some of the things that we discussed, right? For example, player attitude. that is going to play a major role in how exactly the scene is going to progress. Competitive integrity, very, very important. Then at the same time, I believe, uh, you know, in terms of how exactly the PO or anyone just organizes a tournament, patience is key. And I believe that, if you are going to go ahead and revive a particular game or the scene in the region, you just have
It
to
will
give it
take
a
time.
chance.
It will
And
take
at
time.
least give the TOs a chance, no matter who it is. Just give them a chance to just showcase what exactly they have in store, instead of just automatically denying, saying that, hey, you're not giving us what we need. Like,
Like
whatever it is. uh,
from my side too, like
yeah.
I agree with your pointers from all of you. Because you guys have more experience in the past, but I just feel we need more content creators for Siege in our real. I'm putting it up right there,
Well,
man.
I
I
mean,
mean, like
I mean,
it
we
is
have
still
a crazy
a
game
deadlock
also.
situation, right?
I don't stream Siege right now. I'm busy with my casting because nobody comes to watch, man. I am a plat player. I'm not saying I'm a very good player, but I kind of go in and entertain my viewers as much as I can in Siege. Because if I don't play good, people in the chat will say you're not playing good. If I don't entertain and be funny enough, and people will say like, bro, everybody's streaming Siege. Why I don't watch Bulo and watch to come and watch spend my data on you?
Actually, about talking about the content creators, right? Like the players, right? Like suppose you are streaming, the other players from the region don't support you much. They like taunt you, I feel like.
People
So they
taunt
like
me. I can go. People taunt me. I'm a console streamer. I don't care, man. तुम
they
दे दो तुम
taunt you
अपने
in like
pocket से. People like I go like I'm not interrupting you. People when come in chat कि bro you're a console player. I just go in bro. तू 2 लाख का super chat कर दे. मैं PC कर लेके खेल लूँगा. If you think it's that easy to pursue your career as a content creator when you're not getting enough of the support,
the
it's simple.
support from the other players, like the other, like suppose you guys are saying like like we should like not just say competitively play and promote the game in a different way, like streaming it, making the game more so the audience knows about the game for our region. So what happened is like if you are streaming, if you have like average viewers, like in the starting, no one will get like 1,000 viewers in a day or like 100 viewers in a day, right? People will know, like look at Bueller and stuff, they didn't get cause suddenly when people saw their skill level, like they like a lot of audience like came to them. I mean, but when they like the in our region when you're streaming, it's like these guys have 2 3 viewers. What is he gonna do? Why is he streaming? Like they say this kind of stuff which actually demotivates, which I
It
feel
does.
like.
It does.
Again, as I said, player
I
attitude is
also
a
have
very, very important factor, because, like, if you don't support, you can't grow in the region.
This
You
is
have
what
to support.
this is what I said. Rainbow Six in our region, I support that Sparkoda. Ki you guys are playing since like last 5 years, but it's still at a very primitive stage. Not by I'm not talking about a skill level. I'm about talking about the community and the scene. Overall, the
It's
as a
business
very
whole.
picture.
fragile.
It's
As a
it's
whole,
very
yeah.
primitive. अभी ये grow होने में time लगेगा, and everybody needs to come under one umbrella. कि यार we are the South Asian scene. We need to support each other. Whether it's a content creator,
Yep.
whether it's a newcaster in the scene, because see, take it from a caster perspective, if I don't make money as a siege caster, I will eventually move to any other game out there if it will pays me well. Because this is how shit runs, man. I cannot go and tell my parents, Mama, I'm getting paid 1500 a day to cast a single game. It's not how things works in life. You have to put on the money on the plate to understand, to make your family understand. Ki, Mama, I want to pursue some things in professional gaming and gaming in a general. If I can do that things properly, it's just like that. Ki people will eventually move on if चीजें अच्छी लाइक होते हैं ना हालात नहीं सुधरते तो पीपल विल मूव ऑन
I'm sorry to
Yep.
interrupt again. Like
गो ऑन
talking about this part, right? Like where you said about the casting part and how much you are getting. So talking about it personally, like I have been playing to what I told you right earlier. So meanwhile, I didn't do anything. Like I had like little bit of business and stuff, like which was like side business, which is not that big. Okay, like I had like little bit of like pocket money stuff business I had. But when my parents used to tell me that well, with this gaming you won't survive for a, you know like for the upcoming years, like you won't survive, like they used to tell me actually. But I used to argue with them, like I used to tell them no, no, there will be a way
you
out,
you
there will be a big
you
stuff. I
had
used
a
to
very
tell them
supportive family.
no, I
I
used to
feel
tell them no, but my
yeah
parents
I'm just
yeah
making a joke.
yeah my parents is, but I stopped siege for last 2 months actually. Like After the stage 3, I stopped competitively because I was when I was looking at
You got married,
back.
right?
Yeah, I got married in 2021, but before that, I was
Congratulations.
thinking about the life. I was thinking about the life that, okay, where am I gonna be after 2 3 years? Like, where am I gonna
It
be?
it it will be for everyone's Sparkota. Me as a
No,
caster,
no, suppose the Valorant right now, like the game who are playing it competitively in SA, right now they are, I think they are doing great, but meanwhile, we have nothing. Like, so I was thinking, like, where should I be? And I moved on. I I did some stuff like business stuff. I managed it, like I handled it, and I managed it, and I came back to again Siege. I was like, okay, now I feel relief. Okay, I have a backup, right? This is previously it was like Siege was my main. Like,
because that
but
that was a, that see, I'm not putting it on wrong with, that's how I'm observing from a online friend or maybe a online viewer, like basically how esports work, right? Our industry work. You had at that time, you had time. See, for our situation, same. I am streaming Siege from last 3 4 years. I'm not seeing any growth. You are playing Siege competitively for 3 4 years. Don't see you are growing that much internationally. You are not getting to, like, you're not getting your shot internationally. So I can relate to that part. Ki we don't have a future, right? If me, I would have been streaming BGM or Free Fire for last 4 years when the game came out. I would definitely, मैं कहीं और होता, मैं siege पे नहीं होता. Maybe that can be a part. So it was about the
yeah,
time that we put in a work, right? एक वो इंसान तो सोचेगा यार कि 4 साल अगर मैंने एक गेम को दिए तो क्या हासिल कर लिया, बेसिकली क्या उखाड़ लिया, टू पुट इट इन अ वेरी प्लेन सिंपल वर्ड्स. इट विल बी देयर. एंड
with the-
वो पेरेंट्स का भी रहेगा, क्योंकि अभी भी इवन इफ our everything gets announced, uske baad orgs will pick up teams and all. People will still think, should I put in the time to siege or should I shift to
Touch
another
wood,
game?
नजर ना लगे ऑर्ग्स आ जाएं.
Bira
Assassin,
back,
right, to
TSM
put
is
it,
all
calling.
right.
yeah,
Bira
we
back,
need to.
TSM is calling.
No, no, put it in the
बोलो.
end, like थोड़ा सा funny part में. I can just see future में if like G and VLT and many other top orgs just come in and picks up a siege lineup, be like, man, why it cannot be there when if there's a proper ecosystem.
Again for that to happen, it has to. Okay, so it's not like these people did not try getting into Siege. They did. G had a Siege team. Reckoning Esports had a Siege team. So it's not like top tier organizations don't really want to put in the effort or the money in the game. It's just if they are going to get that ROI, if they're going to get that return of investment, and they were not. And not going to lie, I got this feedback from a lot of organizers as well. They were like, we did not like how exactly the players, approached the sport. Like they were not
Yeah,
professional enough.
ये तो मैंने
I,
भी
I
सुना, ये
I
तो मैंने
literally
भी
got
सुना.
this feedback and I was like disheartened to see like, okay, these guys are first of all saying that hey, we don't have the platform, we don't have the opportunity, but then when they are given that, they're just not professional enough to just show that love for the game. So this is something that needs to be fixed and hopefully, touch wood,
Another
when the
shameless
scene.
plugin. Org like mercenaries, not many are there who keep supporting despite season
बहुत
dry
plug
up
in हो
league
गया अभी,
tournaments and
बहुत
stuff.
plug in हो गया तेरा.
Mercenaries membership. Oh, nice.
Yes,
I
yes,
mean,
bro.
I thought even Kira. I don't know why.
नहीं, not in Kira.
Sure. Yeah, I'm sorry. I've just been off the scene from quite some time, but yeah, I
साला
mean,
बड़े लोग
Mercenaries
बन
had
गए
a
वो.
pretty good line. Nahi, bade log nahi. I mean, Mercenaries had a pretty good lineup, right? But then that changed, right? Is Taha still playing?
हाँ, yeah, he is.
Taha is still playing in the roster, na? Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Went off
interesting.
and then came back on again. Yeah,
Acha.
that way.
Interesting.
Full
तो
U-turn हो
like
गया life का.
to put it out there in the chat, to put it
I'm
out
not
to
gonna
you
lie. I'm
guys.
very, very excited to see what exactly is gonna happen with the entire Community Cup and teams that are gonna be participating. Like, I want to see if the old dogs are still in the scene or not.
Arey bro, many retired people are coming back for sure. For sure. Like the itch that this game provides, and again, like I'm repeating this, they can't get it anywhere else. Like right now, also I'm seeing in the TC thing, Kuntal and all are registered again. Even though his R4C is not buffed yet, he's still
ये देखो
registering. Why?
टारगेट कर रहा है.
Game ka pyar is different.
वो
Sparkle, you still play Aussie or did you just switch to something else?
I shift, like I'm exploring myself.
Constantly keep on shifting, huh?
Yeah,
Oh
exploring
man,
myself. Used to love that Twitch gun. They took all the echoes
Also,
right
Sparko,
one
now.
one major
Sparko with
thing,
his
one major thing to put in
Sparko,
there.
Sparko with his this thing. What was it?
Thomas,
Buck,
Buck.
Buck, Mozzie, and Twitch.
Oh, those old days, bro.
Old days,
Yeah.
dude. Like the best
Mozzie.
days.
Bro, I
Also, to
remember his Buck plays on consulate and then him playing Castle all of the time.
Oh my god.
And then he would
Like,
upload the meme with Castle. It ain't much, but it's hard work with
like, dude,
6 KD or something.
like literally on consulate, people used to target ban Buck because Sparko was like,
Oh,
and they
Sparko
were
had
like,
insane map knowledge, okay, and not just on
yeah,
consulate, on any map. Like cheeky kills all the way. Like, bro, people can't shoot back at you. People can't flick at you if you're shooting them from one other floor. Like that is the beauty of Siege, right?
yeah,
Imagine Valorant, but you stack 3 maps on top of each other and you interconnect them, and you enable the player to change them. That is what Siege is, right? So,
I
yeah.
have a
It
one just
just
small question, just yes or no to this part, and we'll end for today's. Do you think that regional casting, like for like ऐसा नहीं बोला कि we need Hindi casters. I'm saying we need Pakistan casters and Urdu we need Bangladesh casters to just come in and cast the game. Do you think it will just like add more value to the game in our region or just like नहीं होगा?
oh, yeah. Bullet, have you been following the WG gaming tournament that Pakistanis are doing these days? Their casting is pretty good, bro. I think
वो भी
Eliminist is one of their casters. There's one more guy. Like I'll
are
link
they
it on
casting
Twitter
in
somewhere.
English or are they casting
They are
in
doing it in English, and it's pretty
okay?
good.
I think for now we all should focus in one stream. Like we should come in under one roof and support the stream. Then it will, if the right now if we divide it differently, like you'll see the viewers will be like here and there, there.
हाँ वो
It
तो
will
है
be
वो
like
तो है
good, yeah.
agree
like to
agree.
be
Yeah.
completely honest, even from a TO's perspective. Okay, fine. I'm working for a TO, and like it's like okay, we can do regional streams. We can divide it into multiple platforms. But to be completely honest, it's like we target a mass of audience, not just like a particular state or a district of audience, right? So giving them their option is very, very important. But at the same time, it's better, if we just come together as one. And if like everyone knows, okay, for example, if you're doing an English team for a cross regional event, it's very important to have like an English stream because not everyone understands Hindi or any regional language. So like having a main English stream is very important. And yeah, I mean, Hindi does come into play if we are, doing a particular region per se. So when it comes down to these cross-regional events, I feel like, just coming in together as a unit, coming in together as one is very important to, sort of have that feel as well in the stream.
I
Otherwise,
just
it's
feel
just like,
from my I just
otherwise
feel
it's just like
from
Hindi wale Hindi mein, English mein. Why are these guys talking like that?
I just feel in a way from my perspective कि it will help to like to attract more new players because eventually competitive को लोग वही देखते हैं जो बहुत खेलते हैं. See, and this is happens every game. Nitesh bhai, you can agree with this fact. There are
Yeah.
many less people who plays and are attracted to what, but सारे casual वाले comes to watch the VLTNG because it is VLTNG and it's the same thing for in our region. It's take it for example, it's Union Gaming against Kira or Kira against Mercenaries. You can put it that way.
Yeah.
Monkey Hunters LFO and not Union Gaming, so yeah.
I just
Like
considered an
that name
example.
was such a catchy one, no? That like even though they left, that name is very hard to leave. So it like
Like
it has stuck on.
Sometime.
Union Gaming changed the name.
No,
They
no, no, no.
they left the team, so now
Left
it's
over,
Monkey
yeah.
Hunters LFO. Huh?
Sparko was
Yeah.
Union Gaming, right?
I mean, we were like the
Yeah.
due to like some issue. I mean, they had to focus on their local
Yeah.
stuff, so they couldn't like focus on international events, so they had to
Union
move on.
Gaming is a Sri Lankan org, no? If I'm not
Sri
wrong.
Lankan
Yeah,
organization.
Hmm.
Yeah.
they were
बात ही
separate.
खत्म है.
So far, I think they are the like most professional. In 2020, I was like living the life, like dream life. Like
Yeah,
we
I've
had
seen
so many.
I've seen three different faces of Sarko, I guess. Mercenaries, Quantum G1, and then Union
UG.
Gaming.
Union Gaming.
You forgot Mammoth Gaming, bro.
Mammoth
Oh,
Gaming.
Mammoth
I
before
was not
Quantum.
there now. I was not there now. Exactly. Like I was
Oh,
not there for
God,
Mammoth
I'm
Gaming.
yeah.
pretty sure there was one more. I'm forgetting what it was.
Yeah, so I've seen three
Quantum.
faces of Sparko. That was started with Mercenaries, I guess, and then Quantum G1, then Union Gaming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shalo, to put this in end, thank you guys so much for joining in. Like,
All right.
to like like जो भी आता है announcement, you have to take it very very positively. And the main vision of my to this all this podcast is just to get more traction towards Siege. And जो भी पुराने हैं, जो भी नए हैं, they can join in. मैं they see Ashit knows it pretty well. Assassin भाई को भी बहुत पता है. And हल्की तो आप तो थोड़ा सा ग्रुप में लेट साइड हो. I'm approaching many guys, but positive response नहीं आ रहा है to come on the podcast, because if we do it, if I try my level best to get that tag supported by Ubisoft, I need to do it on a more regular basis, right? So like we need to have topics.
Stream, don't worry. I'll try getting Rattler on the next stream.
Nah, we have to do it. Like अगर कुछ
Yeah, no, see, like mercenaries players would have joined. They are busy with their Ramadan players players currently.
मैंने वो
Hello.
नहीं मांगा. I'm just putting out कि like हाँ we are approaching, क्योंकि chat में बहुत लोगों का चल रहा है कि why you are calling specific players only. Like I have approached many people. I just like timing and all that stuff matters, क्योंकि we are doing on a stream. We are not putting out the recording. So guys, thank you so much Arshad. Thank you so much Assassin Bao. Thank you so much Parkoda. Thank you so much Sharky
Thanks
Bao.
for inviting.
Thank you
Bye.
so much for joining in. So guys, this
Thank
was
you so
it
much.
for episode
Bye-bye.
2. We have to put it on the end for today. Thank you so much. As always, spread the happy, spread the happiness, happy gaming, happy wall bangs. Bye bye. Peace out. Good night.
Hasta la
Good
vista.
night.
Hasta la vista.